Cincinnati, Ohio, number 20, Rick Calloway. For UNLV at forward, a 6'9" senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 35, Armin Gilliam. For Indiana at forward, a 6'7" senior from Westchester, Illinois, number 24, Darrell Thomas. For UNLV at center, a 6'8" junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 44, Jarvis Pastnight. For Indiana at center, a 6'10" junior from San Clemente, California, number 22, Dean Garrett. For UNLV at guard, a 6-foot senior from San Pedro, California, number 10, Mark Wade. For Indiana at guard, a 6'2" senior from Newcastle, Indiana, number 12, Steve Alford. For UNLV at guard, a 6'3" senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 13, Freddie Banks. For Indiana at guard, a 6'1" junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, number 23, Keith Smart. And now introducing the head coaches for UNLV in his 14th season, Jerry Tarkanian. For Indiana in his 16th season, Bob Knight.
So it is Knight against Tarkanian, and the Runnin' Rebels at 37-1 are favored by 4. We'll be right back. Comes here the winner of the West region. They put away Iowa after trailing by as many as 19 points. For Indiana, they came out of the Midwest region, and they beat an LSU team by 1 point in that regional championship, 77-76. Billy, how about the keys in this game? What should the fans look for early?
Well, I think Indiana's going to try to go inside, use their power game. It'll be interesting to watch how Vegas tries to go ahead and guard Steve Alford. And also to see how Gilliam does inside with his power moves, because you know Jerry Tarkanian can go to that big guy inside. It makes the outside even more effective. And let's see if Vegas can shoot the three-pointer where Providence couldn't.
Indiana will wear the white. Vegas will wear the traveling red. Indiana controls Keith Smart from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He's come close to home to play in a Final Four, and what a story he is. All these stories will unfold in this game. Rick Calloway, 20, puts it on the floor. Gerald Patio out on him for the Runnin' Rebels.
So they play that man-to-man.
Banks is on Alford. He didn't pull the trigger early on. They get it in now to Garrett. Garrett on the turnaround over Gilliam with the game's first field goal. The Rebels will come right back down. Mark Wade, one of the best point guards in the land, will key this attack. He seldom shoots. Gilliam is in low, turnaround foul. Dick Paparo is the official who called it. Our referee today is John Clockerty out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Paparo is from Syracuse, and Rusty Herring from Durham, North Carolina. That foul was charged to 24, Darrell Thomas.
Well, Indiana has had a giant advantage in the foul situation and throughout this tournament. So they happen to pick up the first one there. Also interesting, watch how Wade is guarded by Indiana.
Thomas taking Gilliam in this set. Garrett is over on Pastnight, and now he's able to slough off.
See, Brent, Alford is not guarding Wade. There's two schools of thought there. Ooh, great jumper.
By Gilliam, the big man inside.
First school is to guard the passer tight so he can't have the passing lane. The second is to lay off. Indiana decides to lay off.
Thomas got an open man, and Garrett lost it. Dean Garrett couldn't get a handle on it. Game's first turnover, and the Runnin' Rebels come back. We're tied at 2. You don't have to worry about a shot clock when Vegas is playing. He traveled. It'll go over to Indiana. That's a turnover. And Bobby Knight barking something out at the end of the bench.
Patio, a one-dimensional player. Jerry Tarkanian said he doesn't dribble it well, doesn't pass it well, but he can shoot it.
Both Knight and Tarkanian are up here early. And Smart was coming inside of Wade and drew the first foul on Vegas.
Wade normally can outrun anybody with the ball, but Smart's one of the best athletes in college basketball.
Billy, can you believe that we've got 6 junior college graduates out here starting? Now, with Vegas, we know, but what in the world is going on?
Well, if Bobby Knight hadn't had the 2 junior college players, he would not be in the Final Four, I can assure you.
One of them lost it there, and here comes Wade. Gets it off a beautiful pass, and Pastnight comes through for the field goal. Now, Banks is going with Alford. The Indiana coaches wondered who would come with him first, and Banks is trailing Alford through that screen-setting offense. Alford pulls it up, and it's going to go against Thomas. That's 2 fouls on Thomas. Down away from the ball, Dick Paparo, a tough official, comes in here and whistles 2 quick ones.
Notice how Bob Knight kept his cool there. Now that's an 2 fouls away from the ball been called right there. Thomas away from the ball completely. Can't believe it's trying to set the screens inside.
Gilliam on the turnaround. He's 2 for 2 from that spot and 2 field goals. And Vegas breaks to a 6-2 lead.
But if you're not going to play the passer as they're not playing Wade, it gives him an opportunity to pinpoint those passes inside. They may have to go ahead and play a little tighter on him out front.
Callaway brings it up for the Hoosiers. Patio tracks him.
Banks all over Alford.
Garrett gets it to Smart, who comes to the glass beautifully. Sliced through for the Indiana field goal. Wade right back for the running Rebels. And Patio up with a deuce. Oh, and again by Jarvis Bass Knight, who skies.
No blockout. You don't find Indiana situation where they don't block out often.
Into Smart again in low, and he draws the foul from Bass Knight. Let's take a look at Bass Knight on the dunk at the offensive end.
Shot goes up. Patio really didn't have it in his hands, but put it up anyway. Now watch, everybody in Indiana turns their head. They don't put a body on anybody. Garrett figures he can out-leap Bass Knight, but that's not the case. You've got to put a body on the great quick leapers from UNLV. That's smart, huh?
Yes, indeed. And you know, we've got a McDonald's All-American out there in Freddie Banks. Well, here's a young man who was flipping McDonald's in Baton Rouge for a year. He was cooking the burgers down there as Keith Smart. UNLV 4 of 5 from the field. Indiana 3 of 3. So this game starts out dramatically different than the first one. Wade is left alone, and he takes a 3 off the iron. Thomas controlling. Here's Smart, and a beautiful defensive move by Wade. That was going to be a breakaway, but he knocked the ball out of bounds. Well, we've got the largest crowd ever for a college basketball game watching the Final Four here in the Dome, 64,959. And folks, not everybody has a perfect seat here, I might point out. We're going to show you a couple of them. Thomas puts it down, comes to the glass, scored the field goal, and Thomas's 3rd personal foul. Offensive foul, field goal, and Steve Isle becomes the man of the moment for Indiana.
Well, that's a tough break for Indiana because they are not a very deep bench. Yeah, Bob Knight acting like the gentleman over there. Excellent defense inside. Patio just holds his ground, goes chest to chest. Kind of a touch foul. I think a no call was the best call in that play.
He was being a gentleman, but he was saying to Paparo, you're the one that got him in trouble with that 2nd foul. You said it nicely.
Boy, they're just leaving Wade wide open. He's got to put up a couple of shots. Nice dish.
Gilliam has been perfect. Misses with the left hand. Loose. Alford in a foot race. Rebels get it. Wade to Patio. He jacks the 3.
You know, Indiana has been a slow starter in this tournament. Remember, we saw him against Auburn, way behind. Slow against LSU. And they're starting a little bit slow here today.
Here's Steve Isle, who came off the bench, number 32. Good all-purpose sub. A little bit slow of foot here to the against Vegas. We'll see how he compensates. And underneath, it's going to come back the other way.
Well, they're giving Callaway a push.
You bet. Underneath, so it'll go on over. And now, Knight gives Paparo still another blast as he walks by. That's 4 team fouls on Indiana and 2 on Vegas. And the Shark is not saying a thing. He puts his hand over his mouth. He doesn't want to say anything the way it's going. There's a 3 from Banks. They're 2 or 3 with the 3s. And Bass Knight knocks the ball out of bounds. And you've got to be impressed with the quickness that Vegas has shown Indiana early in this game.
Brett, they're not only quick, they've got size with quickness, and that's really hard to handle.
Smart, and he was fouled.
That's 2 on Wade. Look for Jerry Tarkanian to come back with Graham, which doesn't really hurt him too much in this ball game. Might even help him a little because Graham then could go over on Alford and free up Banks not to have to work so hard on defense. See, he doesn't want to play a smaller man on Alford. Here comes Graham into the ball game.
For UNLV.
Graham is a 6'4" senior. He played for Bob Wade, Dunbar High School back in Baltimore before Wade moved to the Maryland job, and Wade will sit down, but they will miss that leadership out on the floor, and Alford right away has drawn Graham just as you figured he would, Billy.
Boy, people who think Vegas can't play some defense are crazy. They play as tough a man-to-man as you'll see in college ball.
It's a very aggressive defense. Isle gets to the glass, wasn't sealed off, taps it in. It's 14-11, UNLV over Indiana. Graham's three-pointer, and Isle rebounds.
Graham didn't even get a sweat up here and is putting up threes.
Alford maneuvering.
Nice defense.
Gets it back from Isle. Side to Garrett. Here comes Smart sliding through. He crashes down, and he's fouled. It'll go against Vegas.
Well, if you're Jerry Tarkanian, you don't want to see somebody try to draw a charge on a guy that's shooting an off-balance layup. Might as well let him shoot.
Billy, one of the most important parts of this game was probably the meeting of the three officials and looking at this. We've had 8 team fouls called in this game already. We've got Thomas out of the Indiana lineup with 3, 4 against UNLV, 4 on Indiana. Now, they have established right off the top that this is going to be a tightly officiated game. And if they maintain it, the athletes on the floor can say, all right, we know the rules and we'll play by them. It's if consistency is lacked in the second half that you begin to have trouble with coaches.
I think these referees saw the game between LSU and Indiana. And they're not going to let this one get out of hand at all.
Banks bringing it down. One of the rare times you see this team slow it up. And not for long. Smart with him. Callaway out on patio. Here's Bassnight coming around Isle. Went to the left hand, but you could see the quickness in there. Garrett cleans up rebounding. Now Indiana can tie it.
Oh, good help by Bassnight.
Alford quickly with his initial shot. Tapped away by Bassnight. Here come the Rebels. Patio has it knocked away beautifully by Callaway.
You know, that's a defensive move a lot of guys are getting to be very good at. Stripping a man of the ball as he goes up for the jump shot instead of going for the block.
Alford on the drive. Tosses it up and ties the game at 14. Steve Alford's first field goal here. And it's turned over. Banks lost it on the dribble. On the turnover, it'll go back to the Hoosiers. We got a television timeout here in New Orleans. It's 14-14. 14-27 left in the first. Of 9. Steve Alford 1 of 2. And Billy Packer, show everybody how Indiana gets Alford open.
Nobody in college basketball moves better without the ball than Steve Alford. So here's inside with Alford. Here he's going to move, try to rub his man off a screen inside. When the switch is created, Alford will pull out to the side. If the defense goes for the switch, Garrett or Thomas will move inside looking for the inside power play. Or outside to Steve for the three-pointer.
And they now have an opportunity to go ahead here in this game. After that turnover, it's Indiana's ball. David Willard, number 40, on the floor for the first time for Jerry Tarkanian. Eldridge Hudson, number 33, also has checked in. And Garrett gets behind Willard. Got the field goal.
Brent, Willard is a good offensive shooter, but not a good defender. Great move by Indiana to go immediately at him defensively. About the only weak defensive player on the UNLV team.
Hudson gets it to Willard. And it's Vegas's ball. You know, Wade, before he went out with those 2 personals, had dished out 5 assists.
Well, he's the all-time assist leader in single season in the history of college basketball.
Indiana on a run of 7 straight points here against Vegas right now.
Trying to take Garrett. Nothing there. Good defense by Garrett.
Now he turns on the man, and Callaway yanks the rebound, throws it to Banks, and gets it to Gilliam.
4-point turnaround on that steal. Bobby Knight real upset with that one. He had 2 going one way and loses it 2 the other way.
Deadlocked again, 16 all, 13:29 to go.
Tarkanian changed assignment.
Garrett's in low again behind Willard. He drew the foul from Willard. He'll come to the free throw line.
Jerry Tarkanian can forget about Willard being able to help Garrett.
I think Tarkanian will probably switch, Billy.
Now, he's getting a lot of help from his assistants right now. Timmy Gingrich is saying the same thing. Got to get somebody inside to play Garrett.
they can move Gilliam or Hudson and try and see what they can get defensively with that matchup. They do not want to get Gilliam into any kind of foul trouble over here. So now the Las Vegas coaches have a decision to make, because Garrett is getting in behind Willard. And let's see, when they come down the floor the next time, we'll check that matchup.
Brent, about the only thing they could do is put Willard on Isle, because Isle's not going to be a big scorer anyway.
Now at this end, Isle for Knight takes Willard. Hudson and Callaway was there. So Indiana's ball. Check the inside matchup, Billy. Who gets Garrett?
Well, they can't change yet.
Alford. A three-pointer.
I think
Paparo was late in getting his arms up, but it was a three, and Banks answers with a missed one. But it's going to be run down by Vegas.
And there's one of the things Vegas does well, get the wide rebound. I think Vegas is really out of sync right now with the team they have on the floor.
Garrett fronts Gilliam, frustrating him on this side, but they get the ball in low to him anyway. Missed the shot, and Hudson hammers it away.
No block out from the weak side. Well, when Gilliam gets the ball, everybody from IU is really there.
Now Smart will operate at the point, and Alford will look for the screens. And yes, Willard does come out on Isle. Smart comes up with that great leaping ability, hits the field goal, 23-18. Indiana leading. Banks charges through Smart. Offensive foul. That's his first.
And with Wade out of the ball game, you see how important he is. He's coming back in now, but how important he is to Jerry Tarkanian's club. They really have gotten out of sync offensively. Willard's going to sit down. Banks has got to sit down.
He is one of the great leaders in college basketball. As Willard and Banks sit down, Wade, number 10, returns, along with Jarvis Basnight. And there is the team leader. He played down at Oklahoma, transferred to a junior college, and then came to UNLV. This team responds to him verbally, and he also sets the example. He leads them on and off the floor. He's a remarkable young man.
Tell me Steve Isle isn't doing a job as a sub.
Comes all the way to the glass for the layup. He's doing a great job.
Why he's so valuable, he can play any one of three positions. He goes back in the guard spot. He plays inside defensively. He plays the forward spot.
Gilliam brings Garrett way out. They look for Gilliam. That jump hook is not there, and Callaway skies. Now Alford brings it down for the Hoosiers. 25-18, Indiana leading Vegas. Great pass to Smart, looking it off, and Smart couldn't hit it, and Gilliam brings it down for the Rebels. Here's Wade. Now it's Gilliam alone at the free throw line. He'll hammer that shot away.
That's where Garrett has to be really careful. You can't wait for Gilliam to come down and post up, because from about 16, 18 feet, he can drill the jump shot.
Wade is taking Alford. That's the third Rebel who has been assigned to Alford. Isle out there with a hard screen, and Wade slashes through it. Now comes up with a defensive play. Alford came back on him and fouled him.
Well, Wade is so quick. And Jerry Tarkanian did not want to use Wade on Alford if he could help it. He felt he needed a bigger man to stop that jump shot.
One of the keys to the defensive strategy that we saw put in at the Vegas practice. They're not going to switch off. They want their men to slash through the screens, and Wade did that time and stayed with his man. Gilliam down in low, and Callaway, who's doing a job on the glass. Loose, he's come up with it, and here's Alford.
Indiana's really weak, Brent, when Gilliam gets the ball, because they put so many men on him. There's nobody there in case he misses the rebound.
Callaway off the dribble.
Forced it.
And Gilliam underneath was fouled by Isle. He's going to go to Vegas. So along with Billy Packer, I'm Brent Musburger. A crowd of 64,959, a record for a college basketball game, watching Indiana shoot 71% from the field, Vegas 45%, and Thomas on Knight's bench with 3 quick personals. But still, Indiana leads by 5. 10:30 to go here in the first half. Graham's open, and Isle switched out and influenced the shot.
Graham's pulling up the trigger on his jump shot, but that was a great screen by Wade.
Wade would not give Alford an inch. Now he comes through the screens. He's got daylight, and Garrett is there.
Neither team blocking out very well on missed shots.
8 for Garrett. And what has to please Knight so much is Isle's performance, because Thomas is on the bench with 3 personals. Two shots. There's a foul down inside. And it's going to go against Graham.
Is it going to be?
They're going to shoot two at the other end. Paparo looked inside.
Brent, that's some good piece of officiating, because a lot of times you see officials looking only at the ball. There's a case where Paparo was really looking off the ball for the play. Let's see it inside. Who is going to be called on here?
It's on Graham, away from the ball on the far side. He took him right down to the ground, and Smart will shoot the free throws here at the other end. Freddie Banks and Gerald Patio return for Tarkanian. 17 fouls against Vegas and 6 against Indiana, and we reach a point where the Shark says, I got to get the towel out.
He got it out early today. I watched him nibbling over there about a minute ago. Pete Smart exploded. The first time we had him on CBS this year was against Ohio State. Alford having a rough day, but Smart did the job to pull IU back to a big victory.
We've got a television timeout. We're near the 10-minute mark. Indiana leads Vegas by 9. Well, here at courtside, we have an excellent view. But James Brown, what about some of the other seats here in this vast dome?
Well, Brent, even with the fans who are sitting up here, you got to wonder. 64,000 fans here, the largest crowd ever, unobstructed views everywhere. But those fans who are sitting 27 stories above the action and paid $17.50, you got to wonder if they're getting their money's worth. As a matter of fact, one fan I talked to said that from up here, the game is nothing but a rumor. Brent?
Thank you, James. Vegas hit 5 of its first 8 shots. Since then, only 4 of 13 against this position man-to-man defense of Bob Knight. It's the pressure defense of the Runnin' Rebels against position man-to-man. They drop it to Gilliam, aisle in low, and they send it back to Wade. Patio, he's one of the threes, and he hits one, his second of the game. They are 3 of 5. Aisle puts it on the floor, and Fast Knight takes him, and here's Garrett up over Gilliam, but he traveled coming off the fake.
Gilliam underrated as a defensive post player. Holds his position very well, moves his feet, doesn't go ahead and slap with the hands. Patio's feeling warmed up with that 3. He'd like another one.
Loose on the floor, and Smart dove back in on the ball against Gilliam, and it was turned over, went out of bounds first. So it'll be Indiana's ball, and Vegas sets the pressure, and Smart breaks deep. Comes inside Gilliam. Hits the layup against the full court pressure defense. Bob Knight will do that. He did it in the rematch against Iowa. He says you just go all the way when they set the full court press. That's the best attack against it. Patio's second 3 here in the last few seconds. Long rebound off the hard rim, and Alford got a ball on it, and Callaway, who has played extremely well here so far, wraps it up.
Did you notice when Patio knew that shot was off, how he took off to go get the rebound? Alford showing some pretty good ball handling and passing out here today, as opposed to his normal shooting. Gets caught in the switch.
It was a little flat for Steve's shot. He's missed a couple from that spot over there. In that first game, we had some poor shooting. Banks pulls up.
A great hesitation dribble. Just froze the defender. Teams are slowing down a little bit right now. Looks like they lost it, looking for that second win.
Callaway tried to get a field goal and couldn't. It's 31-25. The quarterback brings it down. Patio off the move. The 3 not there.
When he misses very, very badly. Boy, I'd go crash that board. He throws some hard bricks up there. Normally a great three-point shooter is a guy that has it always soft around the rim.
Garrett on a quick turnaround, and Gilliam fouled him. That's his first personal foul for the Hammer.
Give you an idea about IU going to the foul line. In the tournament so far, they've been there 116 times. Their opponents only 61 times. That's 55 differential.
So far, Vegas has not shot a free throw in this game. Indiana, Garrett gives Indiana 7 of 8 at the free throw line. And Indiana has enjoyed an enormous edge because not only do they get to the line, they have been hitting them in the tournament. And they build a 33-25 lead, 7:47.
Hitting them, they're shooting 82% from the foul line.
Across the Patio maneuvers, and Garrett blocked it.
Look at Isle just wave off. Alford said, I'll bring it up. So valuable to have a sub that can play multiple positions.
Holloway cut off. They get it back to Isle.
That was a good cutoff by Bass Knight.
Inside to Alford. Gets Banks away from him with the body and then hits the 2. Wade comes right back. It's a 10-point lead. Biggest of the game. Gilliam at the line.
Should have been a foul on Garrett, sticking his hand in his face after the shot. That's the second time he's come down and pulled up, taking that little 16, 17-footer.
Near the 7-minute mark, Gilliam had a hand. Ball went out of bounds. Indiana's ball. And Gary Graham, senior guard, checks in.
The guy that's
Patio sits down.
Brett, the guy that's tired right now is Garrett, but he doesn't have anybody that's going to go in for him the remainder of this half. Push by Banks.
That's his second personal.
This game is being called very tight. Very tight.
Right from the beginning. Now Alford, who is one of the best, as you might imagine, from the free throw line. He has hit 22 of 25 in the tournament, 88%.
Now, one of the top free throwers in the NBA was one of his idols when he was growing up, Jerry Seasting, who plays for the Celtics, played for Steve's dad. In high school. Kid's been a gym rat all his life. Has the stroke.
It's 10 again. Callaway sticking with Graham outside. They get into Bass Knight. Alford reaching in has assessed the personal. That's his second. So the winner of this game meets Syracuse for the national championship Monday night. In case you didn't see the score, Syracuse eliminated Providence 77-63 in our opening game. And here it is Indiana against Vegas, 37-27. Indiana, 6:48 in the first. Billy?
Brennan, that last play, you can see Steve Alford let Banks go completely. Now let Wade go completely. What Wade has got to realize that if he's not going to be played, he's got to start taking up the slack a little bit so he can get the ball back and make the good pass or take an occasional shot to keep Alford honest.
Bass Knight misses the Rebels' first free throw on the 1-on-1. Save by Isle. Ships it to Alford. Boy, this is a quality performance by Isle off Knight's bench. Gilliam taking Garrett.
Nice man-to-man defense by Graham.
Wade switches over on Smart. Alford couldn't do anything with Graham, so he sends it back to Isle.
Clinic by Graham right there.
Winds up in Callaway's hands. Now it's Steve's 3.
Yes, and a good call by the ref. Graham stuck him right in the chest with his hand on the shot. Tarkanian wants a time. Good refereeing. I said before that Garrett did that on Gilliam, but it wasn't called. These refs are right on top of this game.
Indiana 40, UNLV 27. Billy, take us through that play a moment ago.
Well, Graham gives a cheap shot to Alford right there. Now, that wasn't a big physical deal, but whenever you gain an advantage with contact, which was the case there on that particular play, the official wisely made the call. Graham found himself trying to help out inside, and if you're playing Alford, never go help out inside. You better stay right with him face to face.
Now, Indiana led 9-8. It was 17-01. Thomas got his third personal foul. Since then, they have outscored Tarkanian 32-19. Joe Hillman replaces Steve Alford, who takes a break here in the first half. Now, Isle, who came in, has scored 4 points, but he has pulled down 4 rebounds, and he's played strong defense. Look at the quick double on Gilliam, and so from the corner, Banks
what a
running
shot.
3 from the deep part of that corner.
Are you kidding me? Fading away, going to the deep corner with a good man on him.
Vegas team was down 19 to Iowa. I think it was about 18 early in the second half, and still they were able to come back. A lot of firepower Indiana faces here. Here's Isle. He's got an opening. Tried to dish it off. The defense was there. Callaway beautifully follows it up. Now Joe Hillman positions the defense. Wade is cut off.
Hillman didn't show up on the stat sheet as even having played against LSU, but may have been one of the most valuable minutes we've seen all year.
Gilliam on the turnaround. He had a 3-point play. Knocked out by Bassett. He had a 3-point play, and he fouled out Dale Brown's strongest defender in that game.
He really did a good, smart job leading the ball club. Like I said, it played less than a minute in the game, so he didn't officially show up in the stat sheet.
Eldridge Hudson is the Rebel who just checked in, and Smart is rejected by
There he is
Gilliam.
again.
Joe Hillman following up.
It seems like Vegas is making one effort on every play and Indiana making two, and that's why they're capitalizing on it.
The 3 from Banks, the other side. 11 points for Banks. And Vegas is 5 of 10 shooting threes. Stolen by Wade. They can work a run faster than any team you want to see. Hudson goes to the glass.
Now Bobby Knight has taken a calculated risk here, taking Alford out of the game. He may have to bring him back in quickly. Yeah, he's getting him up off the bench right now. He cannot afford, as did Jerry Tarkanian, making substitutions or that bench. They're not ready to play in a game like this.
Here's Callaway. Back to Isle. He tracks it down.
Isle wants to go right with that dribble.
Give to Hillman, and Gilliam with another strong block. And this time the Rebels come out. Banks with a 3. Tapped in at the glass by Hudson.
Hey, this is a big run. Now Bobby Knight doesn't want to call a time here, but he may have to take one. He's got Alford trying to get back in the game. He might not be able to get him back in quickly enough.
45-39. Garrett, and he ends it. A huge hoop for Indiana at the 3:40 mark. Here comes that pressure again. And Gilliam fouled and scored and bring him to the free throw line.
You know, Wade pushes that ball up the court, Brent, so positively that you can see how Vegas plays with him in the game. When he's not in there, this ball club not anywhere near as effective.
Knight questions Paparo.
Gently questions.
Wade has dished out 11 assists. Patio replaces Banks for UNLV at the 3:33 mark. 47-41. Indiana over the Rebels right now.
That puts Wade up over 390 assists on the year. Last year he set an assist record of 283, so he's beaten it by 100 at Vegas, and he breaks Mark Jackson all-time NCAA record. And look at who's got that ball in his hands right now.
That's 15 points for Gilliam.
Ooh, what a screen by Isle.
Against the double, they get it to Isle. Got to be an open
Alford's
man.
open.
Comes inside on the penetration. Couldn't get it to fall, but Garrett cleans it up. That's 2 big field goals by Dean Garrett. He and Hudson collide coming out.
Both of these teams are really well coached, but I've never seen 2 teams this well coached that have given up that many second shots by bad blocking out. What
Knocked away by Smart and out of bounds. Vegas will work an inbounds play.
Gilliam has great hands on the inside. Was a football player up to his junior year in high school. Recruited by a lot of people.
They wanted to play tight end. South Carolina was among the schools. West Virginia, another one.
And then was not highly recruited as a basketball player.
Wade's 3 is short. Alford has it. Indiana pulls it up. Now Alford comes in all the way, and Gilliam is there with another block. He's been a monster inside. Graham coming through, drew the foul. And so Gary Graham, with the 3rd personal on Steve Isle, moves to the free throw line.
They are fun to watch on the break. It just gets exciting as they cross an half court. You know they're all moving. They really fill the lanes. Alford thought he had it made. Excellent timing on the inside by Gilliam. Here's Steve. He's beating him around the corner. There's no place to go. Gilliam times it perfectly and starts the break.
Richard Robinson has checked in against Knight for Vegas. He'll wear 00. He's in the middle on the far side there on the free throw line with Graham at the line. Knight is having a few calm words over there with Papar.
Well, Bobby Knight, a master of working at sidelines, and knows with this particular crew, particularly after what happened in the LSU game, this crew's not going to put up with any of his nonsense. So he's trying to gently work him as opposed to going after him with that violent attitude he showed in the LSU game.
(49-43).
Nice help by Hudson.
Now Robinson is taking Garrett, and they try to get it in low to him. Tarkanian with a few fouls to give in that situation. And Bob Knight will try Todd Meyer, number 30.
Boy,
Steve Oz is going to get a round of applause from the Indiana fans.
And a pat by Bob Knight. That's a quality minutes, just like we saw in the first game. Brower coming in and giving those quality minutes. Not a lot of stats, but good quality minutes.
Callaway is going to be a thoroughbred. Only a sophomore. 51-43 Indiana. Approach the 2:10 mark here.
Not even guarding Wade.
Graham on the pull-up was fouled by Smart. That's his first personal. And now Graham comes up to the free throw line. He's been averaging better than 12 points a game in the tournament so far. Wondering about the shooting percentages in the first half. Indiana at 61% and UNLV at 51%. Just think back to what we had in the first game. What a difference we're seeing here. And Banks comes back with 11 points and Patio sits down.
Been a lot of the statistics there in regard to the high percentage are caused by second shots. Easy rebounds on the inside. Graham, who stroked 2 real good foul shots against Iowa, has looked poor in the last 2.
No violations now. No foul.
Gilliam returns. Hudson goes out.
Graham's brother, an outstanding shooter for the University of Maryland. Boy, he hasn't looked good on one yet.
Meyer rebounding. Alford bringing it up on Banks. Meyer to set the screen. Knocked away and out of bounds. It'll go over. Touch last by Smart. Wade comes with a long pass, and Smart was able to come back and knock it out of bounds.
Well, against a good athlete, you don't want to take that chance. And with it 53 to go, I was surprised Indiana wasn't a little bit better with the ball there. And you're not going to get it all back so quickly.
Banks.
What are they going to call that, a shot?
Call on Smart. His second personal.
Foul is charged to number 23.
I believe he signaled 1-on-1.
Yeah, 1-on-1.
And now they will try Cree Smith off Knight's bench. He's a 6'7" junior. So he has Meyer, Smith, Garrett, Callaway, and Alford out against Gilliam, Robinson, Graham, Banks, and Wade. 149.
Boy,
Having trouble at that line. And Gilliam rising up. He's fouled on the shot, and he'll come to the free throw line. Garrett working away on him. He picks up his first personal.
Brent, both of these coaches will look at this film later this summer and wonder how so many second shots have taken place, because they're normally very good at blocking out inside, particularly fundamentally sound on a foul shot. We saw Syracuse get an awful lot of second shots or second rebounds off missed free throws.
And that's been the difference in the scoring. 51-43 as a result of that. Indiana with the lead. Now it's 51-44. Gilliam with 16 points here in the first half.
Well, Gilliam, known as the Hammer, got his nickname from Spoon James. How'd you like to get a nickname from a guy called Spoon? Now that's scary. This is the second free throw shooting really hurting UNLV.
Banks all over Smith.
He better give up the ball because Banks will take it from him.
Ships back to Callaway. Open is Smith.
Double team. Somebody's got to be open. It could be Alford.
He's pulled it back out. And they're off of Meyer pretty much. Here he is. Now it's Bree Smith coming in. Callaway gets two fake, goes to the glass for the layup. Is he going to be a big timer or what?
John Thompson taking a look at this game, maybe thinking Olympic material for that guy.
You bet. Now it's Vegas' turn.
And they've been quiet from 3 range here of late. Banks got Smith on him. He can get one off. He's a lot quicker.
Alford sloughs on Wade. Here's Banks. He comes up over him, and he hits the three. Good call, Mr. Packer.
Well, he's being played by a man not quick enough to stay with him out there. Boy, Vegas doing a lot of double teaming here. And when you double team Indiana, they'll find the open man. There he is.
Callaway.
Almost walked. Bobby Knight works on this semi-delay a lot. It's very difficult to double team one of his teams.
Shot clock is turned off. Indiana bringing it down. Bree Smith was the open man. Tracks it down. And then missed the layup underneath. And Robinson comes out. They'll have to hurry. Graham at the buzzer. The end of the first half. And it's been a good one. Knight in Indiana lead Tarkanian and Vegas 53-47. Jim Nance and James Brown are standing by. We'll return to the Superdome after this message and a word from your local stations.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by UPS. They run the tightest ship in the shipping business. The U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. And by Quaker State Motor Oil. When car-carrying people reach for the best, they reach for Quaker State Motor Oil.
Jim Nance back with you on our set here at the Superdome. And I'm joined now by my CBS Sports colleague, Billy Cunningham, along with Jim Boeheim, the winner in our first game this afternoon. Coach Boeheim, congratulations. What's going through your mind now an hour after that big victory?
I felt real good for about 5 minutes. Then I started watching these two teams play, and I don't feel so good right now.
Jimmy, that appeared to me to be the best defensive effort you've had from this ball club this year.
Well, I think our defense has been a little underrated. We led the conference in field goal percentage defense this year and last year, and we played good man-to-man both times we beat Providence. So I think we're a little bit better than people give us credit for, but today was excellent.
Coach, tell us what happened here. You had an 18-point lead in the second half, and then an altercation took place. Tell us about this.
Well, it was a normal Big East scuffle. You know, we get in these all the time. They were just locked up, and, you know, just one of those things. And we just, you know, a guy came in and hit Coleman, and I just tried to get out there and separate them. But I thought up to that point, we played the best we could possibly play offensive and defensively. And from that point on, we just hung on. We were just struggling.
Momentarily, that seemed to ignite Providence. They went on a 9-0 tear, but then your team came back with another big play.
Well, when they went on that tear, we just felt we had to hold the ball, spread them out, try to slow the game down a little bit. And our kids have handled the ball well in that situation all year, and they did it.
Jimmy, for you guys to win the championship, okay, Monday night, is there any key phase of the game or a key player you think that's got to play an outstanding game?
Billy, we've done it with balance all year long. Syracuse has always been a balanced team offensively and defensively. And the way we can be successful is by being balanced. We were that today, and that's, I think, the overall key to our team. When everybody's involved, then we're a good basketball team.
The Big East this year, you know, it's supposed to be down year for the Big East, and we see them, the two teams in the Final Four. Why? I mean, why does this happen?
Well, the conference is very competitive, as you know, from seeing some of the games that you saw. It's a war every night, and I think that gets you ready. The Big East tournament helps get you ready. But, you know, I just think that this happens to be our year. We've had good success in the 8 years, and mainly because I think of the commissioner, the organization of the league, the way it's been set up has been done the right way, and it's helped all the coaches get the best possible program that they can have.
Billy, quickly, what do you think will happen in the second half? I know Jimmy can't really comment on it, but what do you think?
Well, the one thing Indiana cannot do is relax for 1 second, because we saw last week where Iowa let up a little bit, and UNLV is going to come at you for the next 20 minutes of this game.
All right, Billy, thank you, and congratulations again, Jim Boeheim. We'll see you Monday night in the championship game, and we'll come back in just a moment, and Bobby Knight in his own words as we continue from the Superdome in New Orleans. Mark O'Meara has a one-shot lead. We'll have final round coverage for you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern time here on CBS Sports. Right now, let's go to my colleague James Brown, who is standing by the UNLV locker room. James?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. Interestingly, the Rebel players, when they came off the court at halftime, they were smiling. And the reason is because a couple of the players said that their problems are easily resolvable. Indiana was using players other than Keith Smart and Steve Alford to bring the ball up the court to neutralize their pressure defense. But the main reason for the smiles, even though they're down by 7 points, is that they have Indiana into a running game, and that's their game. They feel they have Indiana right where they want them. Back to you, Jim.
All right, James, perhaps the most dominant figure coming into this Final Four was Bobby Knight of Indiana. He played in the Final Four 3 times on those great Ohio State teams. Now he's coaching in his 4th Final Four. Well, we talked with Bobby yesterday, and here, in his own words, is what he looks for when a youngster comes to Indiana looking to carry on that Hoosier basketball tradition.
Over the 16 years, we've had every personality imaginable. I mean, we've had some very passive kids that have played extremely well. We've had very aggressive kids that have played very well. We've had talkative kids. We've had quiet kids. I think it's just simply a matter of a kid saying to himself, hey, I want somebody to push me to the fullest. I want to find out how far I can go. I want to be the best I can. And in doing that, I'm going to do what I have to do. Now, if you have an idea on how basketball ought to be played, and you're going to stick to that idea, then you're going to have a tough time with me, because I've got an idea on how basketball ought to be played, and I've worked at a hell of a lot more than you have. I think a kid has to know how far he can go. I mean, most of us don't. We're tired, but we aren't tired. We're hungry, but we aren't hungry. We're sleepy, but we aren't sleepy. And we got to know when we aren't. I don't ever want a kid to have to come back and say, Coach, I need to borrow some money because I'm not successful. I mean, I want him to be successful so I can go to him and borrow money. There have been 2 kids that have played for me 4 years that haven't graduated yet. And that upsets me because I think they all should graduate. That's my responsibility. I tell them that when they come. 50%, 40%, 75%, none of that's good. They're there to get an education, not to play basketball. And I don't think anything less than everybody accomplishing what the intent of his enrollment was is satisfactory. They all think I'm a lot easier today than I was when they played. Doesn't make any difference. Every kid that comes back, it's like, boy, you ought to have played for him 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or last year. There's a big change in him between then and they change. No, it's the same.
Bobby Knight happy at the moment. His Hoosiers shooting 59% from the floor and a 6-point halftime lead. You're looking at Valerie Pita, a 19-year-old cheerleader for UNLV. Valerie has been suffering from Hodgkin's disease for 6 years and was told that chemotherapy will no longer be able to help her. She now needs a bone marrow transplant. The estimated cost for that procedure is $125,000. And Mark Wade, a guard for the Running Rebels, took up the cause this week at a luncheon.
I've never seen a person smile so much in the face of adversity. I sit there and I watch Valerie every day. You know, she comes out and she cheerleads for us. And, you know, I'd like to thank her for that. And I pray to God that everybody pulls together and gets her through this. I'd like to say, we need all your help. Please pull together.
It was a dream for Valerie to be here at the Final Four in New Orleans. She's here. She's going to be rooting on her Running Rebels in the second half, and we'll get to second half action after this message and a word from your local station.
NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. Mazda cars and trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Well, Billy Packer, as Jerry Tarkanian now begins to hustle out here toward the court. We've got 6 seconds left toward the start of the second half. The Vegas players just filing out on the floor. They're not even getting an opportunity to warm up. That's very unusual.
It really is. I wonder if somebody forgot on Jerry's part to let his club know what the time was left on the clock. You can't come out without getting a little bit warm. And I'll be shocked if they could come out. Freddie Banks' example, never even touched the ball. They may start the second half without Jerry on the bench.
Now the locker rooms are quite a ways out, and you can see Tarkanian battling his way through the crowd. We're ready to get it started here as Jerry joins the team at the bench. Indiana came out with about how much time on that clock to shoot around?
Well, normally you want to get yourself 3-4 minutes, and I think Jerry's saying that we weren't notified, but that's a big mistake on the part of somebody from UNLV to not let people know when they were going to go ahead and start this second half.
And you're saying, Billy, it is difficult for the players to start out cold and be loose.
Impossible. I mean, you've got to come out and get a couple of shots up. Now, this is a club that's in great physical condition, but you want to at least touch the ball a little bit.
Now, Knight is saying, when that goes to 20, you get him out here and let's play. I was ready. Let's get at it. So Bob Knight, he was a different sort of a leader in the first half regarding the officials. Billy, tell us about it.
In my opinion, Bobby Knight knew he overstepped his bounds, and you did a great job with him, Brent. I'm not smoking you a little bit, but you did a great job talking about that technical foul and that he deserved it in the last game against LSU. He got himself a little over the edge in that game, maybe a way over the edge. Probably should have been slapped for at least another technical. He knew it. He came into this game. He's been very passive on the bench. Look for him this second half, maybe to go that same way, because the officials are keeping an eye on him.
All right, it is a 6-point difference as we start the second half. Indiana 53, UNLV 47. Vegas and the traveling Reds, and Wade with a three is off, and Alford pulls it down. We get word from the table that the NCAA committee does not have any responsibility. It is up to the team. They know how much time there is when they leave the floor to get back out and warm up. They wanted Smart off his hand out of bounds on the turnover. It's Vegas ball.
Good quickness on the part of Wade. Try to get the little backdoor cut, but UNLV is going to have to run up and down this court a couple of times to get loose. You can see that brick that Wade threw up the last time down. Tough to come out and make a shot if you haven't warmed up. Alford's not even guarding Wade. Foul.
Missed the three. And they lose it back to Vegas. Bass Knight to Gilliam.
Wade again with those quick hands. Causing trouble. Wade got in foul trouble in the first half, and I think that's what cost UNLV greatly, because it really got him out of sync with him off the floor.
Garrett traveled. That's 2 quick turnovers here as we start the second half, and 10 total for the game for the Hoosiers. Down to 4. Away from the ball, down on the inside. Smart and Banks entangled down there. And that for Smart is his 3rd personal. So he breaks the assist record that had been set by, among others, Mark Jackson of Georgetown and Milt Wagner of Louisville.
Mix up on the out-of-bounds sideline call. Now we have another problem. Garrett came down on his ankle. He's all right. He didn't want to come out of there. Indiana starting very slow, so maybe my theory goes right out the window.
Everybody, keep your players locked up until just before you start.
Believe me, it won't happen again to UNLV if they're fortunate enough to advance in this tournament.
Alford, he was wide open when he turned on that shot.
Got free on the inside and those great screens that Indiana runs inside.
55-51. Banks, and there's his 5th three of this game. He is 5 of 7 now from 3-point range.
And Banks had not been shooting well coming into this ball game, and so far in the tournament, only shooting 33% from the three-point line. Maybe 5. Mark Wade over there smiling at Bobby Knight. He likes to go ahead. He put that smile on Iowa a time or two.
It's a great story out here for Indiana as I see Steve Isle starting the second half. Now, as you all know, Darryl Thomas is normally a starter, but he picked up 3 fouls, and he's been on the bench since early in the first half. The reason he did not start is because Bob Knight remembers an incident when he was at Ohio State playing for Fred Taylor, and he played a great first half and thought he deserved to start, and Taylor put his starters back in. Patio, the pull-up shot. Smart had it and then lost it, and Vegas has a possession. So ever since then, if someone plays well, he'll get to start the second half, and Bass Knight hits him with a field goal.
Brent, I'm going to throw something at you right here. Although you don't want to guard Wade because he's not a great shooter, I think it'd be smart to go ahead and put a man right in his face to take away those passing angles he's got. You know, he's out there just like in a rocking chair, and he can pick and choose his spots.
Indiana's ball, and now Thomas comes into the game, and Smart sits down. So Vegas ahead, 56-55. They were down by as many as 14 points. Alford fakes and he gets inside Banks.
Steve Alford with the threat of the three-pointer. You almost have to go off your feet because you can't let him have that uncontested jumper.
17 for the game to give the Hoosiers the lead. Banks is 3 again. That's 6 of 8 for Freddie Banks. 20 points for the game.
Callaway needed room. He wanted to drive on Patio that time, but Alford was in the way.
Here's Thomas. His second field goal.
Good job by
Gilliam. Short, and underneath was Wade. He'll come back and reset. Patio. Quick move on Callaway. Up over Garrett. Gilliam, offensive rebound. He's fouled. He'll shoot a pair.
Now, Brent, another tough thing with Wade, if you're not guarding him, you're not blocking him out. So if you're not close to him, he sneaks in there and gets that cheap rebound. Wouldn't be bad for a couple of minutes to change that defensive strategy and say, Wade, I'm going to play you for a while. Let's see what you can do in that case.
So Isle only one away on fouling out of the game. Knight wanted to have a few words with Callaway, who returns. Gilliam at the line.
That hurts Bobby Knight because he can't go to that bench as deep as Jerry Tarkanian. Matter of fact, he doesn't want in a game like this have to go very far at all on that bench.
That's 21 for Gilliam.
For UNLV, number 32, Gary Graham.
And Graham returns.
Now, the reason for this substitution pattern, I think Jerry Tarkanian figures that he can rebound with Indiana with just Hudson and Gillum in there, so he really has gone to the three-guard offense. Bobby Knight gets a little counter here. He comes back in with another guard to save Isle for a while.
Joe Hillman. And Isle sits down.
Both coaches kind of matching up here.
Indiana down by 2, 61-59. Callaway traveled.
Now, I don't know if he traveled on that play, and I think Bobby Knight's making a good point over there. It was an unusual looking step, but he still had his pivot foot on the floor. It's one you want to take a close look at. Anytime you do that unusual looking play, referees blow that whistle on you.
Wade left alone.
He faded.
Garrett off with the rebound. The three rattles out. Graham rebounds. Quickly to Banks. He puts one up on the move. Hillman's rebound for Indiana.
Good defensive job by Hillman on that play. He knew what Freddie Banks was going to do.
Thomas with a quick turn, and Garrett alone on the other side with the offensive rebound and a field goal. Deadlocked with 14:30 to go in regulation. Gilliam gets the roll.
Tough in there. Doesn't jump that high. He just has great positioning.
The screen's being set down low for Alford. Thomas against the double team. Comes up with the shot. Came back inside, and he was fouled. That's the first on Hudson.
Thomas tough inside. You remember at the start of this year, he was suspended from the club for a while because he wasn't going to class. Before any game started at all, he got the message in a hurry.
We've got a timeout at the 14-minute mark. It's a television timeout. We'll be right back. America out of Houston, Texas, the captain, John Moran. And inside the Superdome here in New Orleans, Vegas trailing at the half has taken a 63-61 lead. 14 minutes to go in regulation. And Mark Wade with 16 assists, and each one becomes a new record.
And Brett, that's 16 assists. That's good for 32 points. So half of the points scored by Vegas this year have been directly off passes from Wade. Now you have to figure out some way to shut him down in that area.
Oh, good offer hit the cutter, Callaway, and he was fouled when he came up in the air. That's Graham's third personal.
There's Indiana rubbing those screens off on the inside. Callaway and Alford looking to come off double post. They really do it well. Indiana has not scored against man-to-man out of bounds, but I look for somebody to get a cheap one here one of these times. Oh, Wade fought over that screen beautifully. He gets caught on one there.
They sealed him, and that gave Alford enough time.
Nobody works without the ball any better than Alford does on those screens, like Scott May used to do on that great team that Bobby had in 1976.
Or Bill Bradley of Princeton. The three from Banks not there. Garrett rebounds, and now Indiana can take the lead.
Notice how Indiana has cut the break off today. Vegas had not been able to get running.
The lead for the Hoosiers at 13:08, and it's Alford who backs up field goals.
Wade's got to feel like he's running among the trees in there trying to get through.
Graham, short. Callaway rebound. Alford spins inside on Wade, and Garrett underneath for the rebound is fouled by Robinson.
Here we talked about inside with Alford. Now watch Alford use his screens. Here's Wade trying to fight over the top. Now that was an illegal screen moving over there by Thomas. Then Steve goes wide, and when Wade tried to fight over the top of the screen, Alford stayed down on the baseline to be wide open.
Here is the Indiana set on the out of bounds. That's 3 team fouls against Vegas this half, 2 against Indiana. Hillman catching Alford inside to Thomas. Callaway comes around to help. Back in low to Garrett. Against the double team, he goes to the glass.
What we're seeing right now is clinic half-court offense by Indiana. They're taking great shots, great passing.
And Gilliam. Garrett knocks it out of bounds. So the JC out of the City College of San Francisco contributing here for Knight.
Brent, one of the reasons Vegas cannot get the break going is because Indiana is using the passing lanes so well. They're not taking any bad shots, so there are no wild rebounds.
Jarvis Bass Knight into Tarkanian's lineup.
Patio's been sitting for a long time over there. Graham has not had a good game. I look for Patio to get back in here quickly.
Gilliam got the roll. That's 26 points.
Boy, Gilliam showing that he has such a soft shot. These are tight rims, but he just lays it up there and it sinks in.
Using Hillman at the point as Smart sits out, and Hillman burned him inside.
Basket counts. He caught it on the way down. Basket was going anyway.
Boy, Joe Hillman really knows how to operate an offense, sitting out there at the key, finding the open man and getting open himself. in, snaps a high pass.
Great defense by Garrett.
Callaway there for the rebound.
Garrett altered the shot. Brent, I think Jerry Tarkanian's had a rough day substituting in this ball game. You notice that when he went in with a smaller lineup, it allowed Bobby Knight to use Hillman. Good pay.
And Alford right there. 23 for Alford. 71-65.
He's played into Bobby Knight's hands here by having a smaller team, which allows Knight to use a small club.
Gilliam comes back big for him and can't put it down, and Thomas. Now here's Joe Hillman. Tries one to Garrett off his hands. He recovers. Loose on the floor. Callaway up. And it's Hillman. Fast Knight reaching around Thomas. That's his second personal. Not yet in the penalty, so the ball will be taken out of bounds.
Foul is charged to number 44, Jarvis Bassett.
Tarkanian wants a timeout. You could see Wade holding his hand at the table. Jerry Tarkanian wants a timeout. 71-65, 10:29. We'll be right back. We're live at the Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana. Already today, Syracuse advanced to the championship game, eliminating Providence. And they will meet the winner of this, with Indiana up right now. And that's the final score for the Orangemen earlier today. Let's take a look at that pick, Billy, you were referring to.
Well, here's a case where you're screening a man with the ball. Wade gets picked off right there. Now watch what happens. Steve Alford showed the pass, froze the defense, and then went up for his jump shot. He's got the whole package. Really understands how to play the game.
Indiana on a 10-2 run over the last 4 minutes. And Vegas has hit only 2 of its last 12 shots.
And the pace of the game has been IU's pace. Alford was trying to draw a foul there. Took a bad shot, but he thought maybe he'd get fouled in the process. And he's talking to the official on the way down.
UNLV is also cooled off from three-point range. They hit the first 3, and since then have missed 5. There was a whistle blown on the inside as Graham came down. A summary of this game. Indiana 62% from the field. UNLV's 44 points from the front line. And Wade with 16 assists, a new tournament record, as Callaway is assessed his second personal. Now 14 fouls against UNLV and 3 against Indiana. We're at the 10-minute mark.
Graham on a foul, trying to draw, make a move and screen. Brent, I think that Jerry Tarkanian has a lineup on the floor now that matches up and creates some problems for Indiana. Bringing Patio back in the ball game. Watch Graham coming across, move and screen, calls the foul.
That's 4 fouls on Graham.
He's going to be sitting down here shortly with Banks coming back in there. So Jerry Tarkanian will have his best club on the floor in a minute or so.
Patio taking Callaway. Callaway goes right inside with him.
Great shot.
Gilliam coming way out to get the ball. Garrett has played with a lot more intensity since those two were pushing and shoving underneath a while ago.
Notice with Banks out of the game, nobody looking for the three-pointer. Game's all inside it. Alford's not within 20 feet of his man.
Garrett trying to deny Gilliam the ball. He gets it against a triple team. Comes up with a jump hook right-hander, and Thomas snaps away the rebound. And foul goes against Vegas. Jarvis Bassnight. His third.
Foul is charged to number 44.
They don't want to get into the penalty too early here.
6th personal foul.
He's sitting back, relaxing. The winningest coach percentage-wise and active coach in basketball, and only stands behind Claire B in all-time winning percentage.
9 minutes with Banks hounding Alford.
Man's won the PCAA every single year he's coached a team in the league. Somebody got hurt inside. Thomas. I got to figure that was not just a stray elbow there. He got hit right in the chest. Lost his breath. He's talking about it. Boom. You think he couldn't throw a block as a tight end? Forearm shiver coming up there. And it's not like Thomas doesn't have a pretty good sized chest himself. There's Bobby, nice and calm.
He's probably thinking Gilliam's my kind of player. He is a tough player down in that hole, let me tell you. Knocked away by Wade, didn't foul him, but Hillman is there again, picking up the loose ball.
Hillman makes no mistakes.
Knight wants Callaway inside. Offered off a fake. Now he gets inside. Bass Knight fouled him. That is his 4th personal foul as Alford goes to work on him.
Well, again, because of his great shooting ability, when he goes with those pump fakes, you almost have to go up there to try to block it. And then Alford just stays on the ground and goes ahead and gets off the easy shot. Now, Willard back in the game. Willard did not have a good first half in the few minutes that he played. Jerry Tarkanian's had a rough time with substitution all day.
All right. Vegas already has committed 7 personals this half. So the bonus coming up the rest of the way for Indiana. They have only 3 team fouls, and it's 73-65. And you just saw a rare sight with Alford missing 1, and now 2. I don't think I've ever seen that. Sure, it's happened.
And Brent, does this remind you of LSU? Remember the situation LSU was in with team fouls? Indiana only had 4 there late in the...
That was Hillman's foul. He was pushing Gilliam out of the way.
So that's only the 4th team foul.
Foul is charged to number 44, Joe Hillman.
Garrett just walked over to him and said, "Don't force it, Joe. Don't force it when you come through there."
You know what it means when you don't have a lot of team fouls. As it goes down to the wire, you can afford to give a foul, let them have the ball out of bounds.
Dick Paparo was huddling there with Banks and Alford and talking to the 2 veterans.
Second half has been Indiana's game style.
But that's Vegas' style. The 3 from Banks. Don't you ever count this bunch out. They are loaded with firepower.
Total team movement now. Everybody rubbing off screens.
This Hillman, was he crunched. Banks on one side and Willard on the other. They sandwiched. Hillman, and Banks picks up his 3rd.
But you don't expect Hillman to score, but he goes and takes it inside, which is wise. If you're only going to show the pass, the defense can get accustomed to your style.
Shooting 2, number 44, Joe.
So the winner of this game takes on Syracuse on Monday night. And again, a reminder, 8 p.m. Eastern time when we'll come on the air.
Ooh, Bobby Knight giving Wade a lot of earful on the sideline. 3 fouls missed by 2 good free throw shooters. Bobby's first West Coast recruit.
So Wade brings it down. Hillman with Patio. This is Wade. And Patio's 3 is short. But the long rebound. And Banks misfires. And it'll go over. Touch last by Las Vegas. (74-68), 7:28 in regulation. Here's Hillman coming down against the full court pressure, gets the ball into Garrett's hands, and then positions himself for the offensive rebound. And here's Alford. Bangs in. A 2, and Knight is furious. They're calling it a 2. They say that his foot was on the line.
Good call by the ref, but again, Brent, Hillman, how many times has he been there today?
And he's picked off by Willard. And that's an illegal screen on Willard.
Jerry Tarkanian not getting much out of Willard at all today. I think that's a change he's got to make.
I thought it was 3 when he went up.
No, he's got a part of the toe on the line.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot touch it in any way, shape, or form. You can see right there, he's got part of that toe on the line. I'll bet you something here, Brent. He doesn't miss 2 on this one.
Keith Smart is returning for Knight.
For UNLV, number 32.
And now Gary Graham will replace Wade. He wants to give Wade a rest here at the 7-minute mark.
Well, the way Indiana is being patient with the ball, a rest may be a very big gamble on the part of Jerry Tarkanian now. He's going to have to go all out for the next couple of minutes.
27 points for Alford. It's a 10-point Indiana lead at the 7-minute mark.
Garrett doing a nice job on Gillum inside.
Alford is with Graham.
Ooh, nice pass.
Sort of a wraparound for Hudson and Alford, his third.
But nobody goes to the foul line. You don't want to get a cheap one inside like that, but nobody goes to the foul line. Only the 5th team foul.
Billy, how can the running Rebels get this into their tempo? What must Tarkanian do now to turn this into an up-tempo schoolyard game, if you will, which they are devastating at?
Well, the problem is that when Hillman in the game, Alford was free, didn't have to handle the ball. Bobby Knight did a great job in that regard. They're just taking some bad threes inside.
Foul is charged to number 20.
Knight had a question at the table. That's Smart's 4th personal foul. So we're going to see Hillman before this is over. 6:28, 78-68. And the next one, they'll be shooting a 1-on-1, and Gilliam takes Thomas back outside, and that's 28 points for Armin Gilliam here this afternoon. If this was a fight, you would say you knock Vegas down several times, but you can't knock him out. And Alford, coming around, was hit by Hudson.
Now there's a case where Hudson just not quick enough to play Steve Alford, who gave him the little clutch move on the sidelines, just went right on by him. Easy call for the official.
For Indiana, number 12, Steve Alford shooting.
Well, Billy, more than any game that we have seen lately with Indiana, Alford seems to be taking charge offensively, as Hillman does return and Smart goes out.
One of the reasons for that, I think, Brent, we just saw him against LSU. LSU had a superior athlete that had size on Steve Alford. I don't think you can play him with a man of equal size, and certainly can't play him with a smaller man, because he took Wade, went right over him and around him with the screens. Wade coming back into the ball game now, patio out.
So for Tarkanian, Wade, Graham, Hudson, Gilliam, and Banks. This is a 3-guard offense. And Gilliam and Hudson, they're down by the 10-point difference at the 6-minute mark here in regulation.
You notice how Wade is not forcing the ball up the court quickly. He's kind of walking it up the floor.
Banks on the 2. And Alford got a hand on it, and there's Garrett.
The other thing you're going to see Indiana start doing now, they're going to start playing clock by moving the ball out a little bit further. Hillman in the game, he can run this offense to perfection.
Callaway using the glass. He's only had 2 field goals here in the second half, but he made that one count.
Notice how quickly Indiana gets back on defense.
Garrett very active against Gilliam down in the blocks. Banks, and that's a 2-point shot. And that's 25. Banks and Alford in a shoot 'em out here in New Orleans.
Uh-oh, Callaway coming down. It looks like he has a cramp and not a knee problem here. He's reaching for the back of his calf. Remember how he says it's a cramp. Remember how he went down in that LSU game? I never thought we'd see him back. He was out for 5 games this year with that knee problem.
Well, let me remind everybody while we have a quick moment here of what's coming up tonight after our basketball. Outlaws and the CBS Saturday movie, China Rose. That'll follow the basketball game.
Brent, I don't know why. If I'm Jerry Tarkanian, I'm up. I say you either got to call a timeout or you got to get him out of the ball game here. Callaway's still in, and no timeout was necessary. Bobby Knight got a break.
Callaway's a tough youngster out of Cincinnati. Played through that knee pain most of the season. Offered short on that shot. Patio comes out, and Indiana is back defensively. There's Banks.
Boy, they'll pull up and take that three from anywhere.
28 points for Freddie Banks. 82-75, 4:48. They got Hillman. Callaway inside. Fine move.
Now Wade's starting to push it up court.
And he was blocked.
We haven't seen that much this second half, and that's the first time Wade really pushed it up there. That's what gets UNLV going.
The foul is charged to number 12, Steve Alford.
Now they're going to give it to Alford, which is his 4th personal at the 4:18 mark.
Team 7.
Well, obviously, Indiana can't afford that.
Timeout, UNLV.
Now, UNLV, Jerry Tarkanian has called this timeout at the 4:18 mark, so he has 1 to go. Sports. He's back in the hospital in the New York area, and I know he's watching this game this afternoon. And Gene, we have missed you out here in New Orleans. Steve Alford and the Hoosiers come back to work at the 4:18 mark, 84-75.
Jerry's starting to go ahead and chew on those fingers right now. He was here in here comes the Shark chant, but he was there in 1977, the year that Al McGuire's Marquette team won, lost a tough game to the University of North Carolina.
Mark Wade has not scored a point this afternoon, but he has passed out 17 assists.
6 guys off that club that year, Brent, were drafted in the NBA. It's still a record. Now, no post offense right here. Kind of a spread by Indiana. And they run this as well as anybody that's played college basketball.
They've got Hillman.
Gee, what a game he's playing. They will get the backdoor cuts.
Banks is the 3. Thomas and Callaway going up high along with Hudson. Hudson hitting the ball last, and it's Indiana's ball.
What you have there is a case for Freddie Banks trying to get back too much too quick.
Wade fouls Alford. That's 3 on Mark Wade, and Steve Alford gets to shoot 1 and 1. What is so impressive about this Indiana team when you think about Knight is the fact that here this afternoon, off the bench, he has brought 2 players, Steve Isle and Joe Hillman, and they both technically have played the game so well. Yeah, he's tough, and yeah, he'll drill it into your head, but I guarantee you when you walk away from him, if you listen and you sort out the nonsense that he hands out, you'll know how to play the way he wants it played.
You know who has sat down most of the time? Keith Smarts, okay?
Right.
A kind of guy that would love to be challenged athletically by UNLV, and that's not what Bob Knight needed today. So he goes with a Hillman who will play within himself. I think Bob Knight has had much of the better of it in regard to substitutions today.
Hudson powers back for the rebound. Out of bounds. Vegas ball. There's a fellow who would have been a great player except for a knee operation which caused him to miss an entire year before he came back for the Runnin' Rebels, and that's Hudson.
You know, I mentioned to Hudson yesterday about the recruitment of Hudson. And there's Bass Knight back in. Hudson goes out. Jerry Tarkanian said they went to the championship game and Hudson got in an argument with his coach, and most of the other coaches scouting him didn't want anything to do with it.
Ball on the floor. Reaching in was Callaway.
Big break.
Sure was.
Big break for UNLV.
The third personal on Callaway.
The aerial was facing down Indiana's way. They would have got the ball on a turnover.
It's 88-76. Indiana leading UNLV. Gary Graham returning. So the Shark wants to go with the 3 guards, Bass Knight and Gilliam. Hasn't Gilliam played a great game for him, though, with 28 points down there?
Gilliam and Banks have both given him solid games. I think everybody else, you might say Wade also, but everybody else has actually played under their ability.
But Wade just wasn't able to hit any shots either, though, Bo.
Well, he's not going to take many. Freddie Banks had a little special hairdo put together when he was at Vegas after the wins in the regionals. Had the number 13 carved into his head. Is that the right word? Carved? I guess not. Fowler?
It looks like a carved job.
Shave. That's the better term. Appreciate it.
3:15. Indiana up by 10.
Nice move by Hillman. Points are not important here. It's the clock that's the key. Hillman understands that perfectly. There he is again, being the man in the right place.
And a foul as Hillman got down the line. That's the 4th on Wade. Boy, Hillman is continuing to do a superb job here for the Hoosiers.
Well, Brent, the key when you're a substitution playing for Bob Knight is to understand what your role is and carry it out. Don't try to do any more or less than that. And that's what we're seeing right here. He's the guy that created tempo here in this second half and kept them in a half-court offense, so UNLV never could get running.
But there's still time for this bunch. Here's Banks looking for it as he went up in the air. He was fouled, and Hillman picks up his second.
Now, you don't want to foul if you can help it. If you're Indiana, you'd just as soon rather have them put it up with a 10-point lead, make that clock keep moving.
Second personal foul. Shooting 2 for UNLV.
You know, the other thing, Brent, that's interesting is today, I can't remember a time when UNLV made their press work. Well-drilled club from Indiana just took it away from them.
Well, that's the first time I've seen a Shark with a logo on a towel, and if he loses this, he'll go back to the plain white, folks. Enough of that bad luck. Down to 8. They go to the trap, and Alford uses a timeout. They had 4. He saw he was in trouble. He alertly used the timeout. At the 2:39 mark, 88-80, Indiana, and we'll be right back. At the Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana, with Indiana leading UNLV 88-80. You know, Billy, one story I want to mention before we get off the air, because it's a controversial one regarding Vegas. Lloyd Daniels, the young man that they've had some difficulty with out of the New York area recruiting. I got the feeling this year, and I told Jerry this to his face yesterday. I said, you know, Jerry, I thought you were turning it around with the public. They were beginning to sort of believe that you were running a real good program out there, and then you got involved with a young man who has brought more discredit to the school. He agrees, but he's not going to back away from the young man. He will never play for him at UNLV, but he said he still wants to help him go to school. A disadvantaged youngster, but he made it quite clear yesterday that he will never play at Las Vegas. So with 2:35 remaining, Indiana leading 88-80. They have possession. And Garrett missing, but Thomas on the other side. The position rebounding. Banks hits another 3. That is 35 points for Banks. He is 9 of 14 shooting threes.
The double team. Alford sees it. Good spin dribble. Now that people might
Here's Hillman.
Backcourt. It was not backcourt, obviously. 5. Yep.
Goes over.
we see right now, Brent, is what happens to you. When you try to play a delay game and are not looking to score, the defense picks everybody up. Indiana can get an easy basket inside.
Now Banks, he and Gilliam have carried the load here in the second half. He forces that one, but Gilliam cleans up, scored, and bring him to the line. We got a new game. It's 90-85 with Gilliam on the line. They have 35 of UNLV's points in this half. Thomas on the floor, shaken up here at the 150 mark.
Here's Banks going in, double clutches it just to get it in the air was amazing. Now Gilliam comes down, he hits, and no foul should have been called on that because he's coming right down. He hit Thomas, and look at Gilliam's on the floor. He hit him with his elbow, might have hit him in the crazy bone a little bit. You can see that he's holding his elbow. Poor Thomas, he's seen enough of Gilliam today. One in the chest, one in the face. And again, we have that situation where a man's down. They'll have to either take him out or call the timeout. Bob Knight decides to go ahead and take him out. Now watch this. Right down on the face. Clean out by Gilliam.
Folks, we got a new game. This team is explosive. Gilliam can pull them to within 4 at the 151 mark.
Bob Knight goes back to 3 guards. Now he has Smart in the game, and watch and see if Smart doesn't break free with Hillman and Alford handling the ball out front and take it to the hoop.
Banks with 35, Gilliam with 30.
Long.
Rebound Garrett. Graham is on Smart. They might want to put him on the free throw line. Here's Hillman. And now Hillman uses a timeout. They had 3, remember. 2 left. 138. Indiana up by 5. We'll be right back. I'm Brent Musburger. 138 left in regulation. It's a 5-point game. Indiana over UNLV, 90-85 right now. Bob Knight just used a timeout, so the Hoosiers are down to 2. Tarkanian is down to 1 timeout. The possession arrow, Indiana.
But they really have to be careful on this inbound situation because you know UNLV is going for the steal.
Knight elects to stick with the 3 guards. Hillman, Smart, and Alford.
Isle back in the ball game, trying to get a better ball handler in the game. Garrett goes out.
Also, Garrett was hitting only 61% of his free throws in the tournament. They hit Smart. Get it back to Hillman. Isle quickly. That's the one they do not want to put on the line. Now it's Smart. Hits Hillman. Elected to pull it out. And Smart for the layup. And it's a big one. It's a huge layup. 92-85, 119. That could do it for the Hoosiers. Banks. Gets it back for the 3, and they're not finished yet.
He's made them from both corners now.
Lead pass to Smart. Pretty soon they've got to put someone on the line. And there it is. Gilliam fouls Isle. So Steve Isle will be stepping up in a critical one-on-one situation.
And one of the few guys for Indiana that's not an outstanding free throw shooter. Only shooting 68% on the year.
And in the tournament, it's not even that good. It is 50%. Dean Garrett comes in for his rebounding. 102. What a great shooting performance by Freddie Banks here this afternoon. He has been unbelievable. Isle misses, and Vegas not finished yet with a minute to go.
And Smart staying right with Freddie Banks.
Gilliam. They double him. Here's Banks. Isle comes up on him. He misses that one. Gilliam contesting Garrett. Loose. And here's Patio looking 3. Out. Rebound by Banks. Underneath.
Over the back. Over the back. Oh, me! I thought it was Gilliam over the back. That's what it was.
Exactly.
And I almost went through the ceiling there because it looked like they were pointing at Garrett.
Take a look at it, Billy, and see if it's a good call.
It is a good call. Right over the back. You see it right here. There's Gilliam coming right over Garrett's back. Garrett goes to the line. As you mentioned, not a good free throw shooter, but Indiana dodged a bullet here.
38 seconds and a 4-point lead. Garrett at the line in this game is 4 of 4. Missing. Callaway almost comes up with it. Rejected.
He's going to take the three on a break.
But he tracks it down. He'll go back outside, and Smart fouls him. That's his 5th foul. Smart fouls out of the game with 28 seconds, 92-88.
That's a foul that Hillman does not make. And although Smart has done a great job for Indiana this year, that was a mental mistake right there on his part, not a physical. You want to go ahead and just let Banks take it back outside, and you can see Bobby Knight say, I don't want the foul. You don't want to stop that clock. And now Vegas is going to have to foul.
Indiana's struggles at the free throw line have left the running Rebels in this one.
Now Garrett's in the ball game. I'm surprised Knight isn't taking him out, Brent.
Banks shooting 1-1.
He missed the free throw. Indiana, Alford with possession.
Can't foul him.
Did you see Alford taken away from his man? We knew that if Vegas fouled in the backcourt, he wanted to come up here to the free throw line. He took charge of business back there.
Well, Kevin Houston of Army led the nation in free throw shooting this year. Each year it seems to get better and better. Houston's shooting over 92%, but not a bad guy to have on the foul line if you want to seal up a game right here.
Alford 9 of 11 shooting free throws today. 31 points. We've had 3 30-point performances. There were a lot of people who tried to tell me that Bob Knight would never play this game in the 80s or the 90s. Yesterday when he came into the building, he said, I don't want to slow it down. I said, I don't think we can. 94-88, 20 seconds.
Of all people, Wade takes a three.
Isle, with a hand on the ball, has got it. And Hillman. Isle going to go all the way. That's it. Indiana is going to go to the finals.
And Brent, let me give you a stat. They've been there 4 times, and they've never failed to win the national crown. The team that leads that is UCLA, 10 for 10. Great drive by Isle.
And the man who enjoyed it more than anyone. Score it, and Bass Knight fouls out.
Well, Brent, Vegas has lost twice this year, and we have done both games. Are we there, Jinx?
I'm sure you just made us a lot of friends out in Las Vegas. But, folks, I had nothing to do. I didn't shoot it. I didn't handle the clock today or nothing.
Jerry Tarkanian is denied for the 2nd time. Going to the final game.
And I think it bears repeating about that man right there. You give Knight 1 week to prepare for any team, and he's going to be real tough to beat.
Timeout, UNLV.
So we've got timeout being used on the floor, and let's talk about the matchup ahead of us. Indiana and Syracuse. Well, we've got a moment. Billy, your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think Syracuse showed us today they can come out and play some very, very tough man-to-man defense, and I think that is something that's extremely important, because you've got to do that if you're going to play against IU because of Alford's great shooting ability. But I think IU showed something today in regard to great bench play. Super job by Isle and Hillman.
There's a former Knight assistant coach who now is very successful in his own right at Duke, Mike Krzyzewski.
course, Mike at this time last year was very happy as his club had worked their way to the final game, beating Kansas. Bobby eliminated him this year. He's got a lot coming back next year. Expect Duke to be one of the teams on the scene. Not only an assistant under Bobby, but he played for Bobby.
Well, the two teams who live by the three-point play all season long died by it here this afternoon. Providence eliminated earlier by Syracuse 77-63. Vegas will fall, but they threw up 35. And there is Lois Tarkanian. The disappointment of traveling this far and then coming up a loser.
They were the nation's #1 team for more weeks than anybody else this entire season.
Six seconds to kill with a 6-point lead.
How about the deployment here by Bobby Knight? Throwing the ball to half court and saying to Vegas, you can have it.
Lets them have 2 tap-ins. And that one fell for 2. Dick Paparo says that counts. Score that tap-in. The ball was up on the rim. And Knight, Tarkanian, shake hands in midcourt. We're going to come back. We'll hear from Bob Knight and Dean Garrett when we continue in a moment.
Keys. I don't think either team is going to exert a lot of defensive pressure. They're going to try to play good half-court fundamental defense and try to save their energy for the time in the ball game they may have to go all out. The inbounds pass is stolen away by Kyle Persinger. Here's the lead to Lyndon Jones, and he lost it, but he's fouled. It is on John Claiborne, the first of the ball game on Claiborne. We'll take a look at it again. Well, it's a race right here after Persinger picks it up and throws the ball to Jones. Claiborne does a good job coming from behind, and he did get him on the arm. And Lyndon Jones will shoot a pair. Lyndon Jones and Jay Edwards both named to the UPI All-State first team yesterday. Jones has had double-figure scoring in all but one game this year, and that was against Richmond when he had only 4 points in that 2-point victory. He has had 20 or more points, now 12 times because he, well, I beg your pardon, 11 times. He had 19, no, that's right, he had 22 today, 27 today, so he is over the 20 or more points mark a dozen times. And he has his first 2 points of the contest. Matter of fact, Jones has had 30 or more in a couple of games this year against Anderson, Madison Heights, and Michigan City Rogers. He had 33 against Rogers last Saturday. 4-1 basketball game, biggest lead of the ball game. Out of bounds and off the leg of Marion, as David Cruz did a good job of realizing he couldn't maintain control and threw it back in off the leg of the defender. Richmond very obviously slowing the offense down right here. They're not going to attack the defense very actively, at least in this first period.
They did this at Marion when they came within 2.
David Cruz first 2 points of the contest. I understand, Hilliard, that he has 10 rebounds to go along with his 18 points. He's had a ball game already, guys. Well, the Giants have only 5 points out of anyone with the exception of Jones and Edwards. But if you get Jones and Edwards, you don't need a whole lot. You won't need them to shoot. That's the end of the first half. Well, Richmond's got some work to do. At halftime, 32-23, the Marion Giants lead the Richmond Red Devils. We go for the state championship. One of your network sponsors, Farm Bureau Insurance.
We used to have a different insurance company for all our insurance policies.
But when something went wrong, we were never sure who to call.
So we got Farm Bureau Insurance to insure everything.
It's a lot easier.
It's more convenient.
And there's no confusion.
We got one company, one agent.
And only one phone number to remember.
You might say Farm Bureau's one of a kind.
Mm-hmm. Just like you.
Oh, no.
Good friends like you are so very hard to find. Stand by me, you understand. Gonna share a Coca-Cola.
Halftime score, the Marion Giants 32, the Red Devils of Richmond High School 23. Marion being led by Jay Edwards with 18. Woody Austin and David Cruz each have 8 for the Red Devils of Richmond High School. Well, the Gary Roosevelt Ball Club is here. The Bedford North Lawrence Ball Club is also here. And we are in preparation of handing out the Final Four awards. And we'll be going back across the floor momentarily to Tom Carnegie. Let's pick it up now.
Bedford North Lawrence. Don Noblet of Jasper will present the finalist medals, assisted by Shorty Birdsall. For Bedford North Lawrence, first to Rusty Garrison. Eric Hughes. Ernie Lovell. Troy Boshier. Troy Eichert. Brad Knoll. Greg Pittman. Jay Ritter. Jeff Spear. Brent Byrer. Jimmy Jones. Damon Bailey. And the manager, Bobby Fleetwood. Assistant coach, Mark Matthews. The head coach, Dan Bush. Director, Ray Manis, and finally, the principal, Warren Wagner. A salute now to Bedford North Lawrence. Participant medals to Gary Roosevelt. Larry Gambiani of Rockville will present the medals, assisted by M.Z. Miller of New Prairie. First to Marvin Ray. Elbert Turner. Scotty Fields. Danny Smith. Victor Williams. Broderick Jolly.
I love you, Mom.
Anthony Kelly. James Clayton. Terry Smith. Kenneth Shannon. Latrell Reitzel. Michael Pearson. Donald Evans, the manager. The assistant coach, Ronald Broom. The athletic director, James Dowdell. The head coach, Ronald Haplin. And the principal of Gary Roosevelt, Robert E. Jones.
So there you have it. Final four participants, Gary Roosevelt and Bedford North Lawrence. They've done themselves proud in their schools and their communities, respectively. Also proud with the arrival here in the Final Four. Is that Dean's sister?
Yes, it is.
That's Tia. That's Dee McDowell, our director's sister, and she is one of the cheerleaders for Gary Roosevelt High School. So we are at halftime, 32-23. Marion leads Richmond. Back in a minute. One of your network sponsors, American Fletcher, National Bank.
In 1839, in a rowdy frontier town called Indianapolis, Staunton Fletcher had a vision. He would build a bank for this new nation, a bank that would stand strong and firm, growing as the nation grew. He would build the confidence of Indiana's hard-working people, meeting their ever-growing needs. Now, American Fletcher is becoming Bank One.
We're an aggressive, innovative financial organization. And with Bank One, we're starting a great new future.
We'll be part of one of the nation's most dynamic financial organizations, with the resources to keep growing and serving Indiana today and tomorrow. Together, we're 15,000 people with a vision of what a great bank should be. That's why American Fletcher is now Bank One.
Now there is a future Marion Giant.
Well, if they win 3 in a row, that youngster's going to say that they were right here when it all took place.
Here you halftime stats, Tom.
Yeah, there's a big one. Richmond has taken 7 more shots than has Marion, but they have 3 fewer field goals to show for it. And look at those disparities in the percentages. Everything else pretty even. The rebounds, turnovers. Marion actually has turned it over a couple of more times, but the shooting from the field has been the big thing, and that's in Marion's advantage.
All right, Tom, it's 32-23 with Marion out in front of Richmond here at halftime. Both ball clubs now back on the floor. We'll be back in a minute. One of your network sponsors is Milk Promotion Services of Indiana.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick. Yeah. Whoa. The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick. Yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody. Milk's that kick. Health kick. Do that kick. Come on, everybody. Do that kick. America's favorite health kick. Milk.
It takes more than just a pretty car to get my attention.
Get high-performance savings on every 1987 Pontiac. Buy or lease. Get up to $1,200 cash back, depending on model and equipment, or get 3.9% GMAC financing. Take actual retail delivery from dealer stock by April 30th. Get up to $1,200 cash back or 3.9% financing. And every new Pontiac comes with a 660 warranty.
You've got my attention.
At your Central Indiana Pontiac dealers.
Pontiac from the Pontiac Bank. Did you see it in the night rain? Looking good. Did you see it through the doorway? Ooh, so good. You can feel the excitement growing. You can feel the thrill it's showing. Feeling like you never felt before. Be the leader of the pack in a Pontiac. A Pontiac from the Pontiac Bank.
As you look at the Richmond Red Devils scoring, Lyndon Jones of the Marion Giants currently has 82 points in the semi-state and state final games up to this moment. He had 46 in Fort Wayne, 27 this afternoon, and 9 tonight. He did not play more than just about half of the game last Saturday night in Fort Wayne against Penn.
Richmond scoring, as you see, Austin and Cruz with 8 points apiece. And the Marion individual scoring will show Jay Edwards coming in with 18 points in the first half to lead the way. Hilliard?
We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance.
It's not a body shop. It's a chop shop, where stolen cars are stripped of their parts. You can help deter auto thieves by supporting stricter licensing and titling laws, insisting on tougher jail sentences for car thieves, and by etching your vehicle identification number on the windshield of your car. Your Farm Bureau insurance agent can help. We gotta shut them down before they clean up.
True or false? For the cost of one shower with an electric water heater, you can take 2 showers with a gas water heater. Compared to electricity, gas dries 3 loads for the price of 1. Heat from an electric heat pump feels cold and drafty, while gas heat feels warm and comfortable. you're smarter to choose gas.
52-year-old Bill Green, he and his wife Mary Ann with 4 youngsters, Kevin, Mike, Ellen, and Larry, graduate of Manual High School here in the city. And also Indiana Central, or now the University of Indianapolis. In his 12th year at Marion, he split some time there. He was at the Giants coaching helm from 1971 to 76, won 102, lost 48, got 2 state titles. Out of coaching from 77 to 81, working for a paper company. Got to the point he missed this particular atmosphere, came back into Marion in 1981. He has been there ever since. He's won 148 games, lost only 19, won 2 more state titles. He has won 5 North Central Conference championships, including, of course, this year, and he will be the coach of the Indiana All-Stars this year. He also coached the squad in 1976. There's not much more, Tom Hession, you can say about that guy. He's done it all.
No, he certainly has. He's been a credit to the basketball program at Marion, as well as just the whole state of Indiana's approach to the game has been very exemplified in Bill Green.
And, of course, rumors continue to abound that he might make a move into the coaching ranks at the college level this year. That is yet to be ascertained. Second half is underway. Richmond is down by 9. They have been behind by as many as 10 on a couple of occasions in the first half. Woody Austin chops that by 2, and he becomes the first Red Devil to hit double figures. And Tom, they've got to have more out of Woody Austin than Jerry Cole.
Well, I was just going to say, if they're going to get back, it's going to have to be on Woody Austin's shooting.
They did not get any scoring out of Andrew Stell in the center slot, but Persinger didn't score for Marion either. So each club came up 1 scorer shy. There's Lyndon Jones' 11th point of this contest. The Jones-Edwards combination will be heading to Bloomington. And, of course, if you didn't catch it, Indiana was a winner. They beat the University of Nevada, Las Vegas earlier today, 97 to 93. We'll play Syracuse on Monday for the NCAA championship.
Yeah, that was a real job off the board by Keys that time.
Gary Keys has 3 rebounds in the game. Here is the steal by John Claiborne. Richmond is going to have to play an almost perfect game here in the second half because Marion is capitalizing on almost every mistake. Rebound will go out of bounds. And the official points toward Marion. Substitution for Richmond. 42, Ireland Cooper comes back into the ball game. He was the only sub that George Griffith used in the first half. He'll replace David Cruz.
Richmond may be forced to pick up the pace a little bit, whether they like to do that, but that's one of the penalties of getting behind. You have to do some things that you probably would not like.
Marion leads by 9. A hoop here would put them ahead by 11, which would be their biggest margin of the night. Lyndon Jones from 17. And Woody Austin kept it free, but also picked up the personal foul. And that is 4 on Woody. And that is a major factor in this basketball game.
Well, the Red Devils just about a step behind in reacting to the ball right here, actually. There's a rebound that a couple of fellas, Stell, Austin, both had a chance to get, but they just weren't in position to do so, and Austin picks up the foul. Well, we're going to see how many minutes that Coach George Griffith can keep him on the bench. It's now 6:33 to be played in the third quarter.
It's a little bit like the Damon Bailey thing with Bedford earlier today, where Damon got his 4th personal foul, and they had to take him out of the ball game and sit him down, and then it was decision time as to when to put him back in that lineup. 36-25, now an 11-point differential, and for Marion that expands their lead to the largest portion of the game.
From what we've seen of these two ball clubs and what their experience has been over the year, they just about have to get 40 points out of the backcourt on each club. Marion looks like they're well on the way of doing that with Edwards and Jones, but Coleman only has a basket for Richmond.
A block. Here is Edwards. And a near steal at the other end by Jerry Coleman. Yeah, Jones and Edwards so far in this ball game have scored 31, but Austin and Coleman, on the other hand, with Richmond, have scored only a dozen in the ball game. And between them, of course, that's where most of the scoring comes, as they average 41.5 points per contest. 5:55 to play, third period. Richmond has led at 1 point of this game by only 1. It was back in the first period. They have trailed by as many as 11. And Lyndon Jones now with 13 points expands that lead to 13. And a timeout will be taken by Richmond with 5:39 to play. It is Marion 38, Richmond 25. Let's pause for this message.
Pepsi Hoosier hysteria is building. Match winning basketball scores and numbers inside Pepsi-Cola products, and you could win one of 10 trips to the NCAA Final Four in New Orleans, or one of 4 87 Olds Calais. Catch Pepsi Hoosier Hysteria.
By watching tonight's championship game, you'll have a chance at a winning matchup.
You look. Well, you look. The game Monopoly has come to life at McDonald's.
Okay, my McDLT for your Baltic Avenue.
And your Coca-Cola. And you can win big. Marvin Gardens! Marvin Gardens! Monopoly has come to life at McDonald's with over $40 million in food, prizes, and cash. You could win $1 million, collect the right game pieces, or win instantly. Boardwalk. Boardwalk! Hey! Do not pass go. Go directly to McDonald's.
Next Saturday here on this very same floor, the Noblesville Lady Millers will play the team from Laurel County, and the winner of tonight's game will play the boys state champion out of Kentucky in the Mid-America Classic. The first game, the ladies game, will go at 1:15 next Saturday afternoon. We'll try to drop in some ticket info for you if we have a chance here. Coleman getting his first field goal in the second half, only his fourth of the game, or second field goal of the game, his fourth point of the night. 38-27, 11-point lead for the Marion Giants. Looking for their 28th win out of 29 ball games. Knocked out of bounds and given to Richmond. Their only loss this year, by the way, was down in Lexington in a bit of an affair with Lexington Lafayette coming out on top 78-74 in a showcase event of a number of the top teams from the Southland. David Cruz now with 10, and it's 38-29. 4 minutes and 55 seconds to play in this, the third period. And a whistle inside, away from the ball, and the foul is on Richmond.
Yeah, it's going to be on John Claiborne. He is trying to play man-to-man against Jay Edwards, and they posted Edwards in a position just outside the lane, and Claiborne really had his arms around his waist pretty good that time, tying him up.
I'm not sure, Tom, how you play man-to-man against this ball club for a full 32 minutes in the game. They're just so quick. A turnover. As Edwards went to the hoop, was it Edwards or Jones?
That was
Jones, yeah.
I think he pounded
Look at
the
Bill
ball.
Green. He can't, thought it was a phantom call. He didn't see anything.
Sitting alongside Bill is Mel Weissog, and Ray Sims is the other assistant coach. The JV team, by the way, under Ray Sims' guidance, in case you wonder what's going to happen when Jones and Edwards leave, they were 19-1 for the second time in the last 3 years. Jerry Coleman was 6. And that cuts the lead from 13 down to 7. With 4:20 to play, here's a whistle and a foul. And Andrew Stell, is it Stell? Tom?
I think it's going to be Claiborne again.
If it's Claiborne, that is 4. We'll take a look at it again. It is going to be, yes it is, on Claiborne.
Yeah, he's over the top. They've made up their mind that they're going to place Edwards in a low post position to try and get him the basketball, and it's very tough to defend him from behind.
Of course, now George Griffith really has his hands full. He has 2 players with 4 personal fouls, Woody Austin and John Claiborne. So we'll see Derek Cooper, a junior at 6'4", who did not play. I beg your pardon, he did play, did not score in the afternoon game today. Edwards logging it deep outside to Persinger. And Edwards has got it in the other corner, and he has 22.
A set play with a beautiful screen.
Yeah, that's a very typical inbounds play that we see quite often. The man throwing it in is the shooter, and they run him with the opposite side off the pick, as Hilliard mentioned, and got him the ball in good time, didn't they?
Sure did. And he can shoot it.
Marion stays in their zone. A forced shot that time by Coleman, and the rebound comes to Marion. Not very many second opportunities for the Red Devils of Richmond. 3 minutes and 50 seconds to play in this third period. Last touch by Marion. It'll belong to Richmond, and Jerry Coleman comes up limping. That right leg with the brace on it was hyperextended earlier in the season. He's down right in front of us here. He hyperextended that knee, and that's what the brace is for, is to try to help him get through the season. And that's the first time, Tom, I think, of the 4 games we've seen him play that's been a factor at all.
Yes, it is. And George Griffith, as you see watching, he wants to know what else can happen bad right at the moment with Austin and Claiborne both on the bench. 4 personal fouls and his main scoring threat down. But They didn't call a timeout for him to come in from the bench, so he's able to stay in the contest.
There is one other player, A.J. Hendricks, that did play some this afternoon for Richmond, and he has not seen any action in this ball game this evening. 9-point lead for Marion with 3.5 minutes to go in the third period. Score is 40-31. Cruz missing. And a foul underneath on Derek Cooper.
There, the Red Devils out there kind of deliberately passing the ball around. They've got some fans over there as they're now down by 9, wanting them to shoot the ball and move to the basket. You know, there's not a lot of patience in a situation like that from the spectators. I guess they think there's a 9-point shot. If you can shoot it out there, you can tie it up real quickly.
Jones gets the roll. Linden with 15. Edwards has 22. And that accounts for all but 5 of the points that have been scored on Marion's side of the column. And a foul on Linden Jones. And that is 2 on him. In this entire game, Tom, unless I missed it, Marion has only committed 4 fouls.
So that's the first foul this half on the Giants. And Woody Austin is back in, so he sat out just a little over 3 minutes. Coach George Griffith making the decision that we can't worry about 4 foul situation. If we're going to be a factor in the ball game as far as the chance to win it, we've got to have Woody on the floor.
Coleman in trouble. Boxed down there by Eric Ewer and Kyle Persinger. They get it outside. Now go back inside to Woody, and Woody may have walked. He did. Marion, as you take a look at it again here, you'll watch the feet shuffle of Woody Austin.
Well, he moved them both, just took a little jump.
Marion's had a school scoring record this year against Logansport. They scored 108 points in a 108-72 victory. They won their 13th straight regional championship, which is a state record, and they're going for the 3rd straight state championship. And shots like that may get them there. Edwards now with 24. 44-31. Back to the biggest lead of the game. 13 points for the Marion Giants. Austin had it knocked away, but off the leg of Eric Ewer. This year they won their 3rd straight North Central Conference title. And they have gone undefeated in conference play in that tough North Central Conference over the last 3 years. They broke the sectional, the regional, and the semi-state scoring records this year, and had a 20-game win streak snapped by Lexington Lafayette in that Lexington, Kentucky Classic earlier in the season. Almost a great play by Coleman, but to come up dry. Here is Linden Jones at the other end, and they got a blocking foul called on Richmond. It's on David Cruz.
Well, Dave Cruz thought he was there in time. Here he is, number 34, moving in on Linden Jones. And Linden goes up, and they call the block on Cruz.
He wasn't set.
That's why the call was made the way it was.
Right.
Linden Jones is a Parade Magazine All-American. He'll play in the Capital Classic later on. And of course, I mentioned he's headed for IU. He's a candidate for Coal-Mister basketball this year. Already they're promoting Coal-Mister basketballs with Jones and Edwards, and that may indeed come true. He has 16 points. Leading scorer in the semi-state and the state finals for the last 2 years. He has 233 points in his 6 semi-state and 4 state finals games over the last 3 years, and that broke the old mark of 201 set for the Big O, Oscar Robertson, in 1955 through 56. Jones and Edwards have scored all of the points for Marion here in the second half. 6 for Edwards, 8 for Jones.
Woody Austin.
Austin with 12. Richmond trailed by 9 at halftime, 32-23, and then Marion extended that lead to 13. Now it is 46-33 again.
Well, they've forgotten about the zone now. They're going to go man-to-man entirely. Marion threw that one away, but Richmond's back quickly.
So the lead was 15 prior to that last shot. Coleman dishes it off, and Austin gets the layup. Austin and Coleman work well together, but Coleman simply hasn't been able to put any points on the board tonight. He has only 6 points with an average of 18, and he had 19 earlier in the day in the win over Gary Roosevelt. Now the steal. Here is Woody Austin. He's got help from Jerry Coleman. Austin takes the 10-footer, and the rebound tapped up and good, I believe, by David Cruz.
Right.
Yes. That's a dozen for David. Now it's 37-46, so they come from 15 down to cut the lead to 9. Now the Richmond Red Devils fans get back into the ball game again, and Edwards knocks it home from outside. Boy, will that cool a crowd down in a hurry.
Yeah, that just had to be a defensive lapse. You don't leave a man wide open like Edwards on the side. Nobody ever was right up on him.
Edwards has hit 12 out of 18 from the floor in this ball game. 12 of 18. Coleman missing. Rebounded long, but back up by Cruz. Short. Rebounded by Edwards again. He's got a ton of rebounds in the ball game. 13. Lyndon Jones. Foul prior to the shot. Basket will not count. The foul apparently is on David Cruz, and that would be his third, as Claiborne comes back into the ball game for Richmond.
Here comes Lyndon around the side, and the play is blown off outside as Cruz made the contact. Good call by the official, and Lyndon Jones, the free throw line, where he's been a perfect 5 of 5 tonight.
Final 29 seconds of period number 3. 48-37. Marion ahead by 3 in the first period, stretched it to 10 in the second quarter, 15 here in the third period. And with 27 seconds showing, another steal at midcourt and an over and back violation, so Richmond gets the basketball. The Red Devils have 14 points in Woody Austin, and they have a dozen out of David Cruz.
Not much Derek Keyes could do about that. He came across the line, briefly had control, had to back off, and the stripe was right behind him.
Jerry Coleman. And apparently Richmond content to go for the final shot of the third period. They are down by 11, 48-37. Persinger, for a point in time, appeared to be playing man-to-man on Austin, but it's still a matchup zone. Here is a good bat up court, and the shot will not count if it goes. 8 more minutes to decide the state champion. 48-37. Marion leads Richmond, which we head to the fourth and final period. One of your network sponsors is Milk Promotion Services of Indiana.
Your American dairy farmers don't want you to be fooled by imitation dairy products, plastic substitutes that don't come off a real farm. So look for the real seal. It's the sign of a genuine dairy food. Look for the seal and know it's real.
Get chugging with milk.
Interest in a game of cards? Credit cards, that is. Stakes pretty high. You know, playing with credit can mean paying the hidden cost of credit accounting. But not at Hills. Hills just isn't playing the card game. Guess they reckon the cards just aren't in your favor.
Hills refuses credit cards to keep prices low every day.
As we head to the final 8 minutes of this basketball game, this is Jerry Baker along with Tom Hessian and Hilliard Gates. That is George Griffith. His ball club's got a lot of work to do. Marion being led in scoring by Jay Edwards with 26. Lyndon Jones has 17. Eric Ure has 2. Derek Keyes 3. That's all the scoring for Marion. Richmond has Woody Austin with 14. David Cruz with 12. Jerry Coleman with 6. John Claiborne with 5. Still, Andrew Stell has not scored for Richmond. Kyle Persinger has not scored for the Marion Giants. Fourth period underway. Right in front of us, inbounded by Kyle Persinger into Lyndon Jones. They lob it down low and they make the slam. Oh, Derek Keyes with 5 points. And the Marion crowd explodes.
Well, they set that thing up during the quarter break to start this final period, and that would sure make you feel a little bad if you were the Red Devils, but they come back on a nice follow by Andrew Stell.
His first 2 points of the game, as a matter of fact. Oh, they had that baby set up during the timeout. It worked to perfection. 30 seconds into the fourth period. Here's Edwards again. Rebound is long to Derek Keyes. He can't get it, and it's off of the Richmond Red Devils, and Marion will inbound. Jim Prickey is the athletic director at Marion High School. Meyer David, the superintendent. Dr. John Marshak, the principal. School of about 2,384 youngsters in a 4-year school. Jones can't get it. The tip-up is good.
I'd give it to Kyle Persinger.
Edwards.
They're going to give it to Edwards.
All right, Edwards gets the tip and apparently 28 points. Edwards gets the rebound. And unable to control the ball was Lyndon Jones. Here's Woody Austin. Out of bounds to Richmond. Now we check with the official crew across the way. It is Jay Edwards who gets that tip in at the other end, and he has 28 points now. A 22-point afternoon affair in the win over Bedford North Lawrence, and 28 tonight. Coleman underneath. And Stell with back-to-back hoops here in the fourth quarter.
A couple of nice passes there. Claiborne made one to Coleman, and Coleman gave it up to Stell very nicely.
Edwards now has had double-figure scoring in every game this year. 20 or more points now in 21 ball games with a high of 31 against Belmont. He could overcome that because we got 6.5 minutes to play in this contest. He already has 28. Rebound Claiborne. 3-on-1 break. Oh, Woody Austin got a little lazy that time. He went to sleep just for a split second. And out of nowhere come the Marion Giants to tip the ball away. Woody Austin to toss it in. Oh, my. Coleman working hard to get that 10-footer.
And he does not have many idle minutes during a basketball game, does he?
Now, we watched him at the semi-state last week, Tom and I did, and he is always active. Lyndon Jones, 19th point of the contest. Now remember now, Woody Austin's playing with 4 personal fouls. Claiborne likewise with 4. Nobody on Marion's side of the ledger with any difficulty at all. In fact, they've only committed 4 fouls in the entire game.
George Griffith made a moment of it. I think he's going to call a timeout right here.
He is indeed. 5:44 to play. Marion up by a 54-43 margin. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance.
Daddy, want to play the guessing game?
Sure.
What do you buy that you hope you never use?
Hey, that's a tough one. Is it something for you or something for me?
It's something for both of us.
Is it big or little?
It's big and real important. Give up?
Yeah, what do you buy that you hope you never use?
Life insurance, silly.
Life insurance?
Because life is full of surprises.
Hooks wants to help you stay active and fit for life. That's why Hooks dependable drugstores carry Futuro Elastic Health Supports and Sports Braces. Futuro's full line of support aids provides temporary help with sacro bracers, knee and elbow supports, even Futuro's sheer support pantyhose for tired legs. For your active life, look to Hooks for Futuro's complete line of health supports and sports braces.
We like to see you smile.
We got an official word now on that tip-in down at the other end. It is not going to go to Jay Edwards as we had originally told you. It will go instead to 52 Eric Ewer. Eric Ewer with his 4th point, so Edwards now has 26 in this contest. There was some concern. I don't think any of us here quite agree with the Jay Edwards.
I had 2-5 instead of 5-2. I thought it was Persinger, but...
Well, we'll double-check that again. Here's Woody Austin, 16 points.
You know, George Griffith has had some excellent basketball teams, obviously, at Richmond. This is his 2nd trip to the championship game. And all those good years, he hasn't beaten this ball club from Marion. And he mentioned that in Hilliard's talk with him before the ball game, how that has been a problem in his tournament play.
But he's never beaten Marion, even during the regular season game.
There are very, very few that have beaten Marion in the last
That's not really...
I think that's what he was mentioning, the fact that he's had these great ball clubs, but it's been at a time that the Giants have had their great teams, and he's had to play them during the season and hasn't overcome that hurdle, and he winds up here in a championship game on 2 occasions. Yeah, they happen to be the opponent.
Well, how do you recall when they were going through, they being Richmond, that terrible situation where they get to the semi-state and couldn't get out of there? Well, they overcame that situation. Now they've been to the finals twice in the last 3 years, and unless they come up with a pretty strong finish here, they're going to find themselves in the runner-up spot again. Lyndon Jones now has 20. 6-point lead for the Marion Giants. 27-1 on the year. And 21 for Lyndon Jones. His limited guard, Edwards, has 26. He also has, by the way, Edwards, 15 rebounds. So he's had himself a workmanlike ball game here this evening. Woody Austin. Austin with 18. Woody's got good penetration. He's got good quickness. And the shots that he takes sometimes look kind of strange, but I don't think they're as strange to him as they are to us. He never seems to quite get squared up for that shot, but with the kind of success he has scoring-wise, I'm sure George is saying, "Oh, I'll just take it any way I can get it here, I suppose." Here's a reach-in foul.
That's going to be on Jerry Coleman.
And his third. So he gets a little bit of trouble. Austin and Claiborne have 4. Coleman and Cruz each with 3. Lyndon Jones had 46 points in the semi-state, 33 against Michigan City Rogers, then 13 in the championship game last Saturday night. And earlier today, Lyndon had 27 points and 2 boards against the Stars of Bedford North Lawrence.
Well, I guess there's only been one other group of seniors that have gone through a situation like that, and that was back in the Franklin era of 1920, 21, and 22 that these boys are experiencing out here right now. So it's a rather unique situation, to say the least.
Lyndon Jones is 9 out of 10 from the charity mark. He was 5 of 6 in the afternoon victory. A 58-47 lead for Marion. Once they got it up to 10, they have been really tough to get to. Oh, what a leaping deflection that was by Derek Keys. He leads the club in block shots with 71.
Now let's take a look. George Griffith would like to have a goaltend on that. The ball might have been almost up there. The out official, Dan O'Connor, said no.
Coleman rebounded long. Edwards couldn't get it. Picked up inside by Cruz, and he'll be fouled from behind. And the foul is on 52, Eric Ewer.
There's Dave Cruz, the junior front court man for the Red Devils, moving around. Ewer finally draws the foul from him. And Cruz will be at the line for the first time in the ball game.
Richmond Red Devils, George Griffith being assisted by John Cade of Ball State, Jim Hardman from Bethel, and then Carl Harris and Sherwood Haydock, also of Ball State, his assistant coaches. His comment earlier this year, if Jones and Edwards of Marion are the best guard combinations, is the best guard combination in the state, then Austin and Coleman are certainly the second best. And when they're on target, you can't really argue with that.
David Cruz has had a pretty good scoring ball game. Front court men of Richmond haven't scored many this season, but he's up there with 14 points right now.
His average is 8 per. He had 6 points and 6 rebounds in the victory over Gary Roosevelt here on Market Square Arena floor earlier today. 4:11 to play in this ball game. 58-49, Marion with the lead. Gary Keys with 7.
He's headed for Wake Forest.
Coleman, yes. Jerry finally hits double figures. He has 10. His average is 18 per game and 19 earlier today. 3 minutes and 35 seconds to play in this game. You see the score on your screen, 60-51. Not an insurmountable hill to climb, but Richmond's not picking up anything. They're scoring, but so is Marion at the other end. Coleman, 16 feet out, yes. That'll get you back in the game in a hurry. Jerry now has equaled his entire first three-quarter output with 6 points here in the fourth period. Now, George Griffith wants full court pressure. His club didn't hear him that time. 3:10 to play. Edwards spins. No. Rebound. Picked out of there by Cruz.
Big rebound right there for Richmond.
Cruz in a hurry and a reach-in foul in the backcourt on Kyle Persinger. That is the first on Kyle. And it's still not a shooting situation. Marion is still not committed over the limit. That is just the third team foul.
Hey, you've got to give Richmond a lot of credit in this ball game. They've had a couple of starters on the bench with foul problems. They have played the second ball game this afternoon, which extended them, and yet Marion can't put them away.
Once Marion got that lead, Tom, of about 8 or 10 points, they've been able to nurse that and manipulate that throughout most of the game. Inside 3 minutes. Coleman's had the hot hand here in the fourth period. And he forced one off the mark that time, but draws the foul from Lyndon Jones. And that'll be 3 on Lyndon, and that'll be a shooting situation. So finally, Richmond will get a chance to go to the free throw line.
Well, Jerry Coleman is the one that tries to take the ball inside from the guard position. Goes up against Lyndon Jones right here. They've done that several times in their careers, playing in the conference and right here in the state tournament. Jerry Coleman did play in the 1985 state tournament for the Red Devils, coming off the bench.
Coleman had a 15 for 20 free throw shooting percentage today. Had he gotten one more, he would have tied for the most free throws successful in the lead. Here's the 60-54 basketball game. 6-point differential.
A gutty performance by Richmond here.
Well, it is. This is a big offensive sequence for the Giants. They put him inside nicely.
Jones missed it.
Got him the ball when they wanted it.
Claiborne comes out with it. Now here is Coleman again. Rebounded long, and a foul will be called on 32 Derek Keys. Basket won't count. That's the second foul on Keys.
There's one shot by Coleman off the back rim. And Larlin Cooper kept it alive for Richmond, throws it back out. In the meantime, we have a foul inside on Keys. Coleman did hit that basket, but it will not be registered. And Larlin Cooper, another one of the seniors at Richmond, will be at the free throw line. He has yet to score today.
He had no field goal attempts and no free throw attempts in the afternoon victory over Roosevelt. All these are big free throws because the clock is standing still with 2:23 to go. Rebounded by Austin. Woody came awfully close to getting his 5th personal foul. Oh, those free throws mean so much. The ball club shoots 74%. They were 26 of 35 as a team earlier today. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Marion is that far away from a record-tying 3rd consecutive state championship. The foul is on Claiborne, and that's 5.
Well, he tried to keep up with Edwards cutting through the lane, as you're going to see on the replay. Here they come through the lane. Edwards gets it. Claiborne up and over the back. Got him on the arm. John Claiborne has fouled out. And it looks like A.J. Hendricks will make his first appearance in this championship game.
Tom was talking earlier about that Franklin Wonder 5. Only other team ever to win 3 straight titles, the Franklin Wonder 5 in 1920 when they were 29-1. In 1921 they were 29-4, and in 1922 they were 31-4. And they were coached by Ernest Grizz Wagner. No other team in the history of Hoosier high school basketball has ever won 3 consecutive championships. Edwards' first point in the 4th period, 27 for the night. Tom, I remember you and I and Hillier sitting here last year. They had just won the state championship, and they were already talking about what was going to transpire tonight. What a year of pressure that had to be on these kids.
Well, it's not awful. You can come back with a pat hand, as they have done. Indianapolis Addicts had the opportunity for 3 in a row 30 years ago, 1957, but they had a mixture of players. It wasn't the same group that had won the previous 2 championships.
Rarely, Tom, do you get a defending champion, because somewhere along the way you're going to lose at least 2 or 3 year starters, but they got the whole full house back here. In fact, they had a chance a few years back after they'd won back-to-back state titles. In 75 and 76, they had a chance to win a 3rd, and it didn't come out that way. A minute and 42 seconds to go. The Marion fans behind us begin to feel the glow of another championship. They've got a 62-54 lead. Woody Edwards. Jay Edwards. Edwards' first field goal in the 4th period. He has 30 points. Now Bill Green, I think, begins to realize that he is on the doorstep of his 6th coaching state championship. That is something else nobody's come close to. And a foul on Persinger. Number 2 on him.
Well, Jerry Coleman's still fighting the battle for the Red Devils as he takes the ball inside. He goes around Ewer right here. Reverse layup. Persinger gets him, and he'll be at the free throw line. Well, Hilliard Marion has certainly been the forerunner and has helped the statistics, but we've had a lot of state champions in the last 12 years from your semi-state in Fort Wayne.
That's right. That has been manufacturing rather regular state champions. Of course, Marion comes through there, Fort Wayne Northrop in 1974.
Warsaw,
Plymouth. Right.
14th point for Jerry Coleman. 5'9" senior. Substitution now for Marion. Back into the ball game, Larlin Cooper. Going out is 52.
Now this is
it's Persinger. We got Persinger coming back into the ball game. Eric Persinger. And going out is Eric Ewer. 1 minute to play in this ball game right now. And the Marion Giants are about to tie history. They have spread the floor, and it's all but over. Just watch it and enjoy it. With 32 and a foul. And the celebration begins on the Marion Giants sideline. And that man is in the process of picking up his 353rd career victory, his 252nd at Marion High School, and another state championship, number 6.
Number 6, incredible. Nobody has 5.
I just can't imagine in this day and age being able to do that. It's so difficult to get out of your sectional or your regional or those semi-states. But to get this job done is remarkable. There will be massive changes now on the part of both ball clubs.
Well, Lyndon Jones goes out for the final time.
And Bill Green holds his hand in the sky. Lyndon is going out with 23 points. They will pull Edwards, I'm sure, at the next dead ball. He has 32 and looking for 33. 30 seconds to go.
Sean Bledsoe with the ball as George Griffith has put some players off his bench on the floor to wind up this ball game.
Troy Christopher. Rebounded by Marion. Edwards will take it. 35 points for Jay Edwards. Final 3 seconds. That's going to be all she wrote. It's gone. It's history. The Marion Giants have just tied history with their 3rd successive state championship by beating Richmond 69-56. Return with the presentation of the runner-up trophy and the championship trophy and the Prester Award winner in just a minute. One of your network sponsors is American Fletcher National Bank.
Hours ago, a storm left this office powerless. Typewriters, computers, none of today's modern business tools were working. Except one. You see, as a GTE switching technician, Ted Benfield knew people were counting on him to keep the phones working. And that's what he was going to do, even if it meant hooking up a portable generator to every switching station in the area. Which, by the way, is exactly what he did. GTE, quality service from quality people.
How to start an impressive family art collection. First, find some talented local artists. Then inspire them with Crayola Happy Meal boxes from McDonald's. Every Crayola Happy Meal comes with your children's favorite McDonald's foods, plus an art kit with a McDonald's Land stencil and 4 Crayola crayons or a Crayola marker. There are 4 sets in all, a different one each week. With Crayola Happy Meal boxes from McDonald's, it's easy to build a family art collection. After all, you already have the family art gallery.
Excuse me, Daddy.
Well, the celebrating begins here at Market Square Arena. as the Marion Giants have picked up that victory, 69-56. Marion scoring is not too hard to figure out. Lyndon Jones with 23. Jay Edwards had 35, and that doesn't leave many more. Hilliard has one of the assistant coaches out there with him right now.
This is Mel Weissong. Mel, congratulations.
Thank you, Hilliard.
You know, you've been sitting alongside of Bill all this time, and he's won 3 championships back-to-back and now 6 overall. You didn't have the one in Washington, but you had several in Maryland.
He's an excellent coach. You can't deny him, and the players just came out and did exactly what they had to do tonight to be state champs, and I don't think there's any denying now that this is the best team in Indiana high school history.
Well, they talk about the Franklin Wonder 5. This is the Marion Wonder Squad, I guess.
Wonder Squad is right, and Wonder Coach on fires.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Harry.
All right, Jerry.
We're looking at a replay of the final seconds of this ball game when Bill Green first begins to realize it's his. And there it is right there. He walks out, and there's got to be a sigh of relief after all the pressure this ball club has undergone this year. Back to talk with more of the players and the coaches, and the award ceremony coming up in just a moment is the shaking of hands with George Griffith and Bill Green. One of your network sponsors is Milk Promotion Services of Indiana.
Everybody knows how to do that kick. Health kick. Yeah. Whoa. The goodness of milk is a real health kick. Health kick. Yeah, milk. You pour a glass of milk real tall, getting calcium and vitamins and loving it all. Looking good. Well, come on, everybody. Milk's that kick. Health kick. Do that kick. Come on, everybody. Do that kick. America's favorite health kick. Milk.
True or false? Compared to electricity, gas gives you twice as much hot water for the same cost. In the time it takes an electric burner just to heat up, you can be cooking with gas. Compared to electricity, gas heat costs less. You're smarter to choose gas.
Hilliard Gates has Ray Sims, assistant coach for Bill Green.
Ray Sims, congratulations. You've been sitting alongside of Bill now for several years. I know you're very happy.
That's true, Hilliard. I've been with Bill now for 5 years, and I think that I might be the most spoiled assistant basketball coach in the state. 4 years out of 5